The UPSC CSE arena is an ever-evolving space where staying up to date becomes as crucial as maintaining a thorough preparation. With strategic planning and holistic coverage for exam syllabus, Vision IS Delhi presents GS Foundation course. Avail analysis and integration of current affairs with GS syllabus. All India test series with an innovative assessment system, inculcating post-test analysis, discussion, all India ranking, and more. Explore the holistic learning modules intrinsically designed for the ideal aspirant.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for an interactive session on personality test that is going to happen after mains result. Although it is still early, but thank you for coming today and showing some initiative and motivation for this preparation. So before sir begin, I would like to quickly introduce sir. Although sir has a huge to his record, so that is why I had to write it down and so that I do not miss out on anything. Patnaik sir is a former president of Service Selection Board. He has also served as a chairman for Odisha Public Service Commission. He had to his record extensive military experience in the Middle East, peacekeeping operations, and foreign army training. He is a renowned corporate trainer in leadership management, HR development, professional ethics, and emotional intelligence. With over 50,000 interviews conducted for civil services, armed forces, and other government services, Patnaik sir is one of the leading interview experts. His unique blend of military, diplomatic, and academic experience, along with his mentorship at the national and international levels, make him an invaluable guide for the candidates preparing for UPSC CSE. So join me in welcoming Patnaik sir for this session.
Hello, good afternoon. Okay. Thank you, Mrigank, for this wonderful introduction. I think many of them has been amplified beyond a particular level to make you, get impressed that, okay, you are listening to somebody who can give you the gospel of ये है गुंडी है जिसको सुनने से हम जो है एकदम clear हो जाएगा. Okay, चलो that's it. I think firstly, I welcome all of you out here and for this class today. Firstly, I know that many of you rather, always feel that the process of preparation for interview must start only after the results of the mains come out. Okay. So पहले ये सोचते यार क्यों मेहनत करेंगे फालतू में, ठीक है ना, होगा नहीं होगा, this that, you always think on these issues. Okay, which is what naturally, if I was in your position, I'll be thinking of this nature because there's so much thing to do. पढ़ाई भी करना है, वो भी करना है, कल मेंस नहीं होगा या अगली बार से मेंस अगर नहीं होगा तो you start thinking so many keeps playing in the mind of a student who is basically trying to clear a competitive exam. At the end of the day, it's a competitive exam. It's not like your school, college, etc. It's a competitive exam where you got to compete for about 1,000 odd posts against 5-6 lakhs people who actually appear, with 10-11 lakhs filling up the form and 5-6 lakhs appearing. So when you look at the ratio, it's a tough call. But then tough calls are there for everywhere. If you take there are similar ratios in management, there are similar ratios in engineering, there are similar ratios in defense services, and so on and so forth. Today, India has got a large amount of people who have qualified over a period of time, and good guys with good academic qualifications are coming to, for these civil service exams. So, out of this, just let me take a little call. How many of you have appeared for the recent mains and waiting for the results? Okay, good. That means quite a large number of them. So you already have passed the second hurdle as far as clearing the prelims and clearing the mains are concerned. Okay. Vision, I've been associated with Vision for almost more than a year now, wherein I always espouse the idea that please start preparing people for the final or for the so-called personality development at the initial stage. Any of you who have heard me before in your classes, in your foundation classes, etc.? Were you all part of the vision, or you came? It's an open session today. It's not necessarily that you didn't with vision. Okay, right. So out here, I've been actually telling that you must prepare people over a period of time, so that my experience has been that I've conducted interviews both at UPSC and state PSCs and other various places, that at times candidates lose by very few marks. Okay. Amazingly, it is more painful to us when we see a candidate is just losing and not coming up to that particular mark. Not because the questions asked to them were difficult. It is because somewhere down the line, he has not been exposed to how to handle questions in an interview, which consists of both simple question, analytical questions, difficult questions, thinker type questions, and also critical situation questions. Now, when you look at the challenge in an interview, is that the first thing that you could be asked question from any topic, any subject. That itself becomes a huge challenge. मैं क्या पढ़ूं, क्या ना पढ़ूं? जो मैं जवाब देता हूं, या सही है नहीं है? Many of them, after appearing for the examination, for the interview, when asked, how have you done? I've done excellent, yeah. बड़ा अच्छा किया मैंने. I answered every question that was asked. But देखा तो यार नंबर नहीं लगा हमारा. Okay. Though the ratio here in UPSC we have been trying to bring it low from 2 to 3. There are many other examinations where the ratio goes enhances. For one post 5 chapters are called for interview. But here we call 3. Last year I think it was 3 times. Earlier it used to be 2.5 times. So by and large, there is a good chance that out of 3, 1 will get selected. That's number 1. But your aim is to become that 1 and not that balance 2 is being left out. Your aim is also another one, that if I am a general candidate, I have to perform very well. Okay, because we have a system of people who are in the reserved category, who have done well, they also come into the merit. So as a result, the unreserved candidates go down. You might also come into a situation wherein you feel that मेरा main marks जो है शायद इतना अच्छा नहीं है. Okay, hence I need to do well. So all these things comes into play because this examination is unique in the sense where we add the marks of the mains and the interview examination and the interview to come to some sort of a final merit. The interview, you are aware, it has got about 275 marks. You are aware, no? 275 marks. And the marks that comes in your mains swings between 800 to 1000 maximum. And as you close down the band remains just within about 100. Among the general candidate, it even sometimes gets shortened down to further 75, 80. And here is an opportunity that in case, even if you got the one of the lowest marks in the written, the first and the last guy, even if you got a difference of let's say 100, 150 plus, 100, it's generally about 100, 120, but not even that much. This is one opportunity of interview where your marks can swing almost 100 plus. Can you imagine? You'll ask me, sir, how? We are given people to the extent of even 50, let me tell you, out of 275. People who become absolutely nervous, people who are found lying, okay, people who thought they can take the interview board for a ride. You know, you may not realize it, but your personality comes out at that point of time when you are put under stress. Okay, a lot of people start showing facade. You understand the word facade? What I am not, you're trying to project. Everything's a concern. And in the process, what happens is that a different type of personality comes into you. Many people realize during the course of the interview, yaar main galat ja raha hu thoda sa, but then it's very difficult to do a course correction. So people have got 50. There are people who also got 220, 230. Sometimes make 240 also in UPSC. This is amazingly high marks. But the overall needle that fluctuates, it's usually around 130, 135, it goes to around 200 plus. So even if you take the average deviation of marks, it's around 60 to 70 marks. You can land up with 130 or you can land up with 200 plus. So one examination, this particular interview, last moment, which is just about 30-40 minutes, can totally offset the disadvantage that you have possibly got in your written examination. You understand the importance of it? It can either take you up or it can also bring you down. If you have done very well in the written examination, you can still come down in a performance. You may still clear, but you may not get your desired choices. So this is the impact of the interview per se. There was a candidate, I remember in 2021, I think, yeah, in the UPSC. There's a girl came from Kerala. Now, she was hinging throughout the interview around 160, 165 or something. But she was good. Somehow towards the last stage, about 5-7 minutes, certain questions are asked to her. And her answers are so superb, which is based on ethics, integrity, character. The entire board was in consonance to take her from 165 to 190, 195. Only last 5 minutes ke andar. So swing can also take like this. She ultimately made it to IAS. If she had not got that additional 25 marks, let me tell you, she would have got something else. And there are candidates that I won't share with you, but I only said the success ones, who actually dropped by 30-40 marks even in the last 5 minutes. Such is the dimension of the swing in a 30-40 minute of examination that you have to provide. On the contrary, you study so much for your mains and prelims and so and so. Kitne paper? How many papers? 9 papers, isn't it? Kar. You are ranging somewhere, the difference is hinging between about 100. Here, within half an hour, we can swing. So, what is it that makes a fellow swing to level of 200 plus minus? And what is it that swings down a person to maybe 120 plus minus? See the difference of 60 plus minus. There is not a single candidate who will be appearing for the interview who is not prepared. Let me tell you this. Will you ever go unprepared? Because the very fact that you have cleared the mains, that means your level of knowledge has mostly been tested. You are cut above others. You are already there at that point of time. But then why is it that despite having a good knowledge base, knowledge bank, and having cleared the written examination, you still fall short in the interview and don't make it, or get something, a rank which is not in the higher ones? There's a guy who qualified in IPS in 22. He came and contacted me, sir, I required little help of yours. I said, what's it like? Sir, I don't know where I'm going wrong, but I'm appearing again this time, and I need to enhance my merit. I want to join the IAS. So I took a couple of mock interviews with him, and I told him, you have to concentrate on A, B, C, D. And touch wood, because of his perseverance, in the 23 selection, he got through IAS. He was from Rajasthan cadre. In fact, he was a student of the vision only. That's why he came into contact with me by taking my details. So sometimes small little tips, helps you to bring in. But the issue is that हम किससे टिप लेंगे, किसको पूछेंगे, okay, कैसे पूछेंगे? If you open the YouTubes, if you open the internet, you have 101 thing which is floating around. Tips for interviews, कैसे करना है, कैसे फलाना करना है, वो करना है, फलाना करना है. If so much of plethora of social media exists, why is that there still people fail? Because it is available to everybody. So today, before I tell you, one of the major things is today to discuss something about a DAF. Why DAF? Is because you'll be amazed, more than 50 to 60% of the questions which have been asked to you actually comes from the DAF. And this data revelation is actually done after deep research by the Vision Group on my insistence last year. So we carried out a complete data analysis of people in the mocks, people who have actually appeared for the interview, and my premonitions, this thing initially was about 48%, so that's why I said you kindly carry out a study on these issues. So a whole lot of study took place, including application of AI, and we found out in some cases it went up to 60%, but then on average you can see about 50% comes out from the DAF. Now the importance of DAF is the damn thing has been filled by you. Nobody has done. किसने तो बताया नहीं और कुछ fill up करने के लिए. And second part is the DAF is nothing but what you are. It tells you to fill up what you are, not somebody else's. And third thing is that most of the things which are asked from the DAF, okay, even people are not aware of it, or people take it for granted. So I will today explain to you that what is the importance of filling of the DAF and how to actually handle the DAF questions and answers. That's number one. One is the main thing. But I'm sure you generally know that what is it that is being asked for in the interviews per se. The broad division of this thing is that, as I told you, it is 40 to 50% of DAF, 30% of general awareness, current affairs events, okay, and events which are usually taking place, both national and international issues, domestic and international issues, most in last 2 years. Don't go back too many behind. Last 2 साल के अंदर जो है आपको, if you prepare about 100 questions each, okay, of domestic and international last 2 years, even I can bring it down to 50-50, let me be more smart and intelligent. And balance 20-30% comes out of your optionals and your any other subject of general nature. So idea of giving out this division is that जो आपके दिमाग में पहले वो चल रहा था कि यार ये तो दुनिया भर के क्वेश्चन पूछ सकते हैं, मैं क्या प्रिपेयर करूं, but you don't realize almost 70 to 80% are on predictable graph, और उसमें से 50% जो है आपका हाथ में जो आपने खुद भरा हुआ है, and another 20-30% is something which I told you which has happened last 2 years, जो आपने खुद पढ़ा होगा, देखा होगा, सुना होगा, सब कुछ किया होगा. Balance 20-30% is something which you can live it to eternity. Okay. But 70%, 75% तो आपका हाथ में है ना? Yes or no? Do you agree with me or not? So जो अपने हाथ में है, why not prepare that first? Rather than reading blindly everything across the board. यार शायद मुझे वो Socrates पूछ सकता है, मैं यार anthropology लिया हूँ, मुझे वो पूछ सकता है, he can ask me something about the political theories. पूछने तो यार, how does it matter? तब हम देख लेंगे. That 20-30% uncertainty तब मैं देख लूँगा. ज़्यादा बोलूँगा ना, सर I don't know, can I have the next question please? इतना तो हमारे पास ऑप्शन भी है. ये जरूरी नहीं कि आपने बोला कि सर I don't know और टक करके वो आपको नेगेटिव मार्क हो गया. और कौन बनेगा करोड़पति में आपको फिर फोन है फ्रेंड. ओके, ऐसा तो नहीं होगा कि मैंने से आई डोंट नो दिस आंसर, ठीक है, कि आई हैव ऑप्शन, मेरे पास 2 लाइफ लाइन और एक है, ऐसा तो नहीं है. यू हैव ऑप्शन कि सर आई डोंट नो एंड यू नॉट बी पेनलाइज्ड. यू हैव ऑल्सो एन ऑप्शन कि सर येट आई डोंट नो, सेकेंड क्वेश्चन भी ठक आई डोंट नो डक हो गया, यू स्टिल नॉट बी पेनलाइज्ड. You also cannot be penalized even if you do third time also. But तब तक your own anxiety level starts increasing. यार fourth question में duck हो जाऊंगा क्या? It's something like Virat Kohli is going on a low phase nowadays. Okay. और कभी कभी बीच में तेंदुलकर भी चला गया था, डक में चला गया था. वो बेचारा खुद का मोरल डाउन हो गया. Player like तेंदुलकर, he also started doubting his capability. So it phase comes like this. So कभी ऐसे इंटरव्यू में अगर होता है ना, सोचो यार ये मेरा विराट कोहली फेज आ गया, बट आई विल कम बैक. डोंट लूज एनीथिंग, नथिंग गोइंग टू गेट लॉस्ट. ऑल आई वांट टू टेल यू आउट ऑफ माय एक्सपीरियंस इज दैट इवन इफ यू सेड नो, सो आई डोंट नो दिस पर्टिकुलर क्वेश्चन, you are not going to be penalized. Even if it's a second question, not penalized. Third question, you know something of it. Sir, can I make a try please, if you don't mind? Then it is dependent upon the board, the chairman of the board, and the members of the board to say, okay, ठीक है, make a try. Or if there's a time doesn't permit, say no, we'll ask you the next question. Even some boards are very compassionate and considerate in the sense कि, okay, tell us which subject have you prepared. Okay, so lot of options. The whole aim is that the board prepares for candidates so that you are able to answer question in a rightful manner, which enables us to understand those answers and convert them into what? Marks. Your end game is number लेना है ना. That's about all. So if you are not understanding the dynamics of मुझे number कैसे लेना है, number कैसे मिलेगा? आपको average number मिल जाएगा. As by entering that you may get about 50-60. That's not an issue. By the very fact you enter the room. But your aim is to touch somewhere 200 plus minus. अगर वो एम रहेगा तो शायद 170, 180. Last year, people who got 170, 175 also still didn't make it to IAS. Okay, we thought some of them will make through, but it didn't happen. So, forget about मुझे IAS मिलेगा, IPS मिलेगा, allied मिलेगा, this, that, nothing of this nature. Think that I must shift the needle to 200 plus minus. So, अगर वो मुझे करना पड़ेगा, how much is the scope of my predictability syndrome? How much the percentage I have with me? I just mentioned to you, कितने percentage? 60 to 70%. DAF 40 to 50. And I told you, national international event. Okay, if you are smart enough, 50-50 questions अगर आपने अच्छी तरह से रट्टा मार दिया ना, just 5 points each. Okay, 50 into 5, 250, उसका 55, 250. 500. अगर आपने अच्छा रट्टा मार लिया on this thing, you have gained almost 80% predictability syndrome in the next 20 to 30%. बाकी on this spot देख लेंगे. There is nobody who comes totally fully कि यार I can know everything. Even हमें भी बिठा देंगे तो हमें मालूम नहीं होगा. Couple of things you should keep quiet before I get into the DAF is that one thing we deliberately see is that when we ask the question, whether you're able to, are you understanding the question properly or not? You may fundamentally think, why is sir telling this? Yeah, what is so wrong? We can't even understand this question. Because when you sit there, your mental state now sitting here and your mental state sitting there, when you know you are being assessed, is entirely different. There is a level of anxiety, there is a level of fear, there is an element of uncertainty, okay, and so on and so forth. Sometimes if you get afternoon classes, afternoon sessions, you know, the interview people are also tired, they want to finish up early. कभी कभी 15-20 मिनट भी खत्म हो जाता है. Then you start thinking, यार क्या मैं सही ठीक किया नहीं किया कर कर. Okay, there are many things which are not within control. If you say कि no, I am fearless, I am fully confident. मैं यार स्कूल कॉलेज में इसलिए डिबेट में फर्स्ट आता था, ठीक है, मैं 95% हूँ, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. There is nothing in this life so far has defied me. Yet, and yet, when you go there, okay, situation will change overnight. And then what response that comes out from you, okay, is entirely different if I ask the same question now to you. Because in hearts of hearts, the moment a member or a chairman of the board asks you a particular question, you are thinking, ये मुझे जानकारी है या नहीं है. Many people who have got high level of anxiety and state of nervousness, अगर वो क्वेश्चन के अंदर उन्होंने 2-3 शब्द पकड़ लिया जो उन्होंने पढ़ा हुआ है, let us take it. Say question, you know, say ask question is that tell me the G20 was conducted by India. What are the major takeaways of that particular thing? Vis-a-vis international situation. The question could be, what are the major takeaway vis-a-vis domestic situation? But आप लोग, the moment you heard G20, या मैंने पढ़ा है G20, माइंड क्लिक कर जाता है, ठीक है ना, ये मौका आ गया, मैं छोड़ूंगा नहीं. But you know, level of anxiety, what happens is that the last sentence, domestic or international, आपने भूल भाल गए. He is just asking you a specific thing. So you start off with, sir, G20 was conducted in India from so and so to so and so date, Falana, so many countries participated, and so had happened, Africa was taken as a new member so and so. तो आपको जितने जानकारी है उसमें बता देते हो. But उसने पूछा है क्वेश्चन कि भैया tell us the international dimension, for instance. Now, international dimension, one of the major things that happened during G20 was that there was a proposal for a IMEC, Middle East, India Middle East corridor. Okay, Africa was taken as a part of this thing, right? And couple of things on finances. So the interview officer just asking you कि मुझे international dimension का मुझे वो बता दो, and that is not more than 4-5 points. But in your anxiety, what has happened is G20 मैंने पढ़ा हूँ, मैंने लिखा हूँ, you start off with G20. You are actually speaking, you are speaking but actually not speaking. Because जो उसने पूछा है, आपने तो उसको सुना नहीं. Last one. And then you keep moving ahead. Then they stop you. No. I didn't ask you that. I asked you this. Suddenly the moment a member says no, आपका स्ट्रेसोमीटर ठक करके बोलता है वो यार गड़बड़ हो गया यार, क्या करूं? You really don't know what you said is correct or not. You go into an entirely different mental frame altogether. और उसके बाद जब जवाब देते हो, it comes in fumbles, it comes in total different, not connecting the dots. And a very good question, which you could have answered very well to get marks, just because you missed out the last two words, domestic stroke international, you have screwed up that very answer. You see how the needle moves. And this small thing could have given you a good marks and a good this thing. And if the member would have told you, or the interview would have said, oh, good, thank you very much, you know the subject, or automatically आपका वो बढ़ जाता है, and you are ready for the next one. But अगर उसने बोल दिया कि आपने नहीं सुना कि नहीं, I think you didn't get the correct one, I want you to tell me this. It may be a very small thing as far as the person who is asking the question to you, but it's a very big thing as far as you are concerned. Because hearts of hearts, yaar, gadar ho gaya. So, the point that I want to drive home before I take your DAF is that understand the questions being asked in a very deliberate manner. There is a factor that we see that is called comprehension power. We give you marks for comprehension powers. And what is comprehension power? Is basically ability to comprehend the question. That's the first thing. The second factor that we look for is logicality in answer. Because we ourselves know that nobody on this planet can answer every question that is being asked to you. Let me tell you. But what we want is that even if a person knows something, or knows partially, or knows the subject matter, how logically he is able to convey this particular point. That gives out deductions to find out what personality qualities have you got. We start deducting that, yes, he has got reasoning ability, he has got analytical ability, okay, and he has got logical abilities. So ये पहले आपको 4-5 क्वेश्चन जब आपको पूछा जाएगा, ये सारे चीज जो है we start finding out, and broadly it comes under the level of effective communications. Effective communication is something is that am I able to understand what the question? Second is, having understood that particular question, am I able to answer it in a logical and a convincing manner? Mark my words, effective communication is that. Am I able to put it across in a logical and a convincing manner? Once that is established by the board, that this candidate has got effective communications per se, then we graduate to the next level of your knowledge. We may ask you a simple question which will answer, just simple thing like the elections were conducted recently in Haryana, for that matter. Okay. What are the reasons that Haryana could beat the anti-incumbency? It's not a political question, but for anybody to understand a particular thing, what are the reasons for anti-incumbency, this thing? Or the Article 370 has been revoked in Kashmir. The state has recently passed a resolution for a statehood. Do you think it will be appropriate for the center to accept granting statehood to Kashmir immediately? We wanting to know the depth of whether you understand 370 or not. And if at all statehood is given so early, what are the implications of it? Very fact that 370 after revocation it remained under the status of the UT. There was a reason as to why it is kept under the UT status. Just because there's an election, is it necessary that we should give him a statehood straight away? So we graduate your depth of knowledge. The third thing that we look into is your response to emergency situations or critical situations. We'll elevate it to the level that okay, you are a DM of a particular place, you are a SP of a particular place, you are an income tax officer, you are ABCD, depending upon your choice that you are given. Since most of you give first choices IS, IPS and foreign service, some people give income tax, etc., IRS, whatever it is, you are quite likely to get a situation based upon your first and second choice. Since 80 to 85% opt for IAS as the first choice, so be prepared that if you are collector, then ABCD, what will happen? And there are n number of contingent situations. If you open up your YouTubes, etc., you will find out as to what it is like. And the fourth and last thing before we actually make up our mind within 20 minutes, that where you stand, is your ability to think other than your subjects. That is called your level of familiarity in non-familiar subjects. We may ask you something on space, we may ask you something on science, we may ask you something on so and so. Okay, just to assess that are you able to tackle the unfamiliar questions in a right manner. This is where we start. We know that we are asking you a difficult question or something of this question, but we see how we are attempting the question. Most important is that how you approach answering the question. That's very important. And though I said fourth, but the fifth and last is that questions on your optionals. Here in optionals, you can expect questions which are coming from as basic as fundamentals as to what you have learnt, or even theories or otherwise. It could be absolutely theoretical in nature. So, point to remember home is that you have to really take mastery over your optionals. So, just remember these 5 fundamental things, which I can tell you with absolute certainty will form 70 to 75% of your questions, these 5 points. The balance 25 can swing in other places depending upon the mood of the member or the mood of the chairman. Okay, mood भी काफी फर्क पड़ता है इतना, तो उनको, and most of them are your father's age. Okay, so if there are 5 people sitting out there as bald and grey like us, okay, so multiply the total age, 60 into 5, there are 300 plus of experience or maturity which is sitting there. वो उसमें क्या होता है, लोग या तो जल्दी गुस्से हो जाते हैं या गुस्से भी नहीं होते हैं. ओके, बट मैं कई बार देखा हूँ कि जो लोग जल्दी भी गुस्से हो जाते हैं. mere on pretext कि when a simple question is asked, यार इसको ये नहीं मालूम है, ये क्या बनेगा IAS ऑफिसर. या trying to talk in an irrelevant manner. Those are the balanced 20% of uncertainty. I'm not even discussing that today. I'm just giving you today tips as to what are the 5 major things, questions on which you will be, traits on which you will be basically assessed. Are you clear so far before I get on to nitty-gritties of DAF? Sure? You had lunch or not? Eh? तुम्हारा आवाज से तो नहीं आ रहा that you had lunch. Yes or no? Yes, good. Okay. You know, you should always say that, you know, a hungry man is an angry man. Okay. So I'm sure you must have had some food and come. Okay. Good. Now come to the level of what you're trying to say today is the question of your DAF. As I told you, DAF is so important that right from the time you start thinking that what is it that I want to write. Okay. Many people come and ask me, sir, मैं मदर टंग में हिंदी लिखूं या मराठी लिखूं? बोले यार जो तुम्हारा मदर का टंग, बोलता सर मदर का तो टंग कुछ नहीं था, बट मैंने आई एम क्वाइट कंफर्टेबल इन मराठी. बोले लिसन, 2 things. One is you must have studied in Hindi or English or something, जो घर में तो बोलता है, in whichever language are comfortable. Simple thing that people get confused. And I have seen many people giving strokes. Hindi, अब like Marathi, okay. Sometimes also Telugu. If he knows, because some, you know, people get so confused कि I want to convey to the board that I know so many languages. यार वो बाद में आता है, अभी मत डालो उसको. Here is a mother tongue. If it is Hindi, if it is Bengali, is so and so. What's the basic thing is that? Okay, and also it conveys partly the language that in what you want to be interviewed also. But that is later. कभी कभी ये भी कॉन्फ्लिक्ट आ जाता है, तुम्हारा मदर टंग तो हिंदी है बट यू वांट टू स्पीक इन, नहीं मदर टंग तो बंगाली है बट यू वांट टू स्पीक इन हिंदी. इंग्लिश इज एक्सेप्टेड. So if it is be genuine, okay. So as far as filling up this particular thing is concerned, sometimes even you may draw questions to why it is called a mother tongue. Why it is called mother? Why not father tongue? Yeah. When you become a mother, you want to have your child a mother tongue or a father? But then why has it been accepted at a national level? That's a mother tongue. Why it is called mother, not a father tongue per se? I will not give the answer. Read. Okay? Because there are different interpretations to this. Okay. Now come to place of birth. If born in India, post office, town, village, so and so, so and so. Now please write this in very deliberate things. Okay. Here, if born in India, because there are some experts who are very fond of picking up this. Oh, you belong to Varaj village in Jharkhand. You belong to Hamirpur in UP. Okay. Maybe, you know, he is a district collector there or he has served there or something. He immediately starts getting attracted to that particular place. Okay. अच्छा तुम हमीरपुर का हो, तुम वहाँ पर पैदा हो. अच्छा मुझे बताओ थोड़ा हमीरपुर के बारे में बताओ थोड़ा सा. You said, सर मैं तो वहाँ पर पैदा ही हुआ था, उसको तो रहा ही नहीं वहाँ पर. ओके, अच्छा तुम रहा नहीं, बट कभी तो कोशिश किया होगा ना. हमीरपुर तुम पैदा हुए हो, उसके बारे में क्या है? अच्छा बताइए, हमीरपुर का नाम क्यों हमीरपुर है, बताइए. सर वो तो मैं देखा नहीं, तो वहाँ पे पैदा हो गया था. आई विल आस्क माय डैड और समथिंग नेचर. पीपल आस्क दिस. सर मैं तो ये पूछा भी नहीं था कभी डैड को. नाउ this question can have relevance, this question cannot have relevance also, it can be irrelevant also, but the fact is a question and you can't afford to take it lightly. Can you dictate to the member or of the board why he is asking this question to me? You cannot. He is at liberty, but he is asking you from another angle कि that यार इस कैंडिडेट ने इस इलाके में पैदा हुआ है, इसका डिस्ट्रिक्ट ये है, उसका फलाना है. Okay. Usually the district is also a very important thing. District है ना? हाँ. District. अच्छा, tell me if you are part of Rewa district in MP. Tell us something about Rewa, please. You may say, sir, actually I have never been there. I have left that place and so and so. But that doesn't excuse you. So जो तुम यहाँ पर लिख रहे हो, okay, you should know about that particular place. And this is where your Google comes into play. Because today everything is there. I find people not using internet to the optimal level. So you have to go like this, what is mother tongue, what is the definition of mother tongue, and so and so. Then I go for city, town, post office. Please make notes of each and everything that you write. कि मेरा village ये था, मेरा district ये था, okay, town, village जो भी है. Let me write something. Say for instance, I belong to, you write down city, town or village. Okay, Rampur, let us take it. See the Google, रामपुर की कितनी पॉपुलेशन है, ओके, क्या ये तहसील है, ओके, ब्लॉक है, व्हाट्स इट लाइक, what is the composition of people out there, demography. Because as a collector, this is something which we have to, as a civil servant, this is has to keep in mind. Because lot of derivatives are made. ये बंदे ने इतना भी तो कोशिश नहीं किया, अपने गांव के बारे में खुद नहीं मालूम है, ये क्या दूसरे के गांव में पता लगेगा. People talk like this in the interview. Let me tell you this after when you are making assessments. So here you should be coming very crisp. Okay, कि मैं रामपुर का हूँ, तो रामपुर में का पॉपुलेशन इतना है, उसकी डेमोग्राफिक कंपोजिशन में इतने इतने हिंदूज, इतने इतने मुस्लिम्स, इसमें फलाना है, इस गांव के अंदर इतने घर हैं, ओके, it comprises so and so, nearest major town is so and so distance from here. So this basic fundamental information about your place that you belong to. Don't go into too much of details कि इसमें कितना रास्ता है, ट्रेन चल रहा है नहीं चल रहा है, उसका सरपंच कौन है, वो नहीं पूछेंगे. Okay, those are details nobody is going to ask you. Whole idea of asking question is that whether do you have your fundamentals strong or not. Because the derivative of not knowing your own place is that this guy doesn't go into details, number one. ये खुद को फंडामेंटल, खुद की बेसिक्स नहीं मालूम है, तो दूसरों का क्या बेसिक पता लगाएगा. सो मेनी थिंग्स आर ड्रॉन आउट फ्रॉम देयर इटसेल्फ. सो यू कैन इमेजिन फॉर योर सेल्फ, इफ यू से कि सर आई बिलोंग टू, सर एक्चुअली आई स्टेड, आई वॉज बोर्न इन रामपुर, आफ्टर दैट आई नेवर स्टेड देयर, I have actually moved out and so and so. To you, you are justified. But if your answer was, कि sir Rampur, sir, yes sir, I have my information sir, and Rampur is a village of approximately about 10,000 odd people. Okay, it is approximately so and so area. So a river flows by next to it. It comes under district XYZ. Okay, though sir, I didn't have an opportunity to go to my village, but I always made it a point to actually find out more details of my own place of birth, sir, because I feel that is where is the strong fundamental rise. So what you have done is, you have converted your little adversity into an opportunity. For you say कि यार मुझे क्या जरूरत है, मैं why should I know about Rampur? या Rampur is past. मैं क्यों जान पाऊँ? But by merely giving this crisp answer, okay, of this particular thing, what you have done is you have established an impression in the board that you have the desire to go into details. It's all psychology, man. It's all impression. You got to play upon the psychology of this thing also. So it's all feeling good or bad. At the end of the day, let me tell you this. Your marks are so subjective. It's all feeling good or bad. I can give you 140, I can give you 170. This situation is just how I feel about the candidate. And nobody can dictate. कुछ mathematics नहीं होता यहाँ पर. It's all feelings. You getting my point? So what have you done is, from the beginning, and you should be actually waiting कि यार ये सवाल मुझे पूछ जाएगा तो यार मजा आ जाएगा. Because you are prepared for it. But if you draw a blank, this thing, एक तो impression थोड़ा खराब हो जाता है. And number two, होता क्या है कि you start feeling bad, यार people possibly have not liked my answer or something in nature. So your body starts sending different vibes within you. In fact, I've seen many people, when some basic fundamental questions are asked and not able to answer, sir, can I have a glass of water please, sir? मतलब एक glass दो glass पी लो यार. Can I have a glass of water? Okay. That is an indicator that nervousness आ गया. And second indicator is your forehead starts shining. 5 मिनट के अंदर मैं बता रहा हूँ, 5 to 7 minutes के अंदर you start perspiring because you've not been able to answer certain fundamental question. The nervousness increases so much, you can literally see reflection of the light. हमको पता लग जाता है कि ये आ गया nervous state में. So there are some, I mean, many of us who are trained in psychological handling and all, we immediately tend to get the candidate back into this thing, but it is not a normal thing. And I've seen so many people, they are sometimes ruthless. They don't bother about your state of mentality. This thing. Yes, it is his business. तैयारी करके आया है, that's a question. It happens. I'm just giving you both sides of it. So coming back to this feeling, this has to be done. Many of you ask you, what do you understand pin code? पिन कोड लिखा है तुमने, पिन कोड अच्छा ठीक है. अच्छा तुम्हारा पिन कोड क्या होता है यार? एंड बाय चांस अगर तुमने पोस्टल डिपार्टमेंट दिया है, वन ऑफ द चॉइस इज ऑल्सो पोस्ट ना, पोस्टल सर्विस. ओके, मेनी पीपल आर स्मार्ट, वो सेकंड चॉइस में पोस्टल दे देते हैं, मतलब कम से कम पोस्ट वाला अच्छा है. बिकॉज पोस्टल सर्विस में क्या है, देयर इज ए ऑप्शन टू स्विच टू अदर सर्विसेज आफ्टर सर्टेन इयर्स ऑफ सर्विस. You don't whether know it or not. Okay. So usually अगर postal है, अच्छा तूने tell me what do you understand by pin code? But what is the original pin code? What is its equivalent in other countries? What is it called? Is it called pin or something else? तुमने बोला यार साहब मैं तो यार कलेक्टर बनने आया था, यहाँ पर पिन कोड थोड़ी करने आया था. ओके, अंदर अंदर से यू आर बॉइलिंग. क्या उल्टे सुल्टे क्वेश्चन पूछ लेते हैं. बट देन यू आर appearing for exam, he is not appearing. So coming back to this one, now come to the next question is your personal details of name of father, status, name of mother. People generally don't touch more upon this. They will not ask you why your mother's name is like this or father's name is so and so. But while writing, people do make a lot of mistakes in the name of father and also name of mother also. Okay, so please don't make any mistakes either in spellings, otherwise write it very deliberately. Sometimes people do take, but usually not. But why take a chance? If your mother's name is Snehalata, please write Snehalata in one word. Okay, or if it is there. So these are very sanctitious in nature. Father's mother, your name of the father, mother. Okay, so we do appreciate and we don't ask any personalized questions on these issues. But then we somehow find out that if a father's name is having one surname and mother name is one more surname. Okay. Some people do ask that why two different surnames are there? Why is a mother not change her surname? If you are a student of sociology or something, you may ask a question, but not very much as far as things are concerned. I'm just giving you the pros and cons of it. Nationality of father, obviously, unless it is non-Indian, is a different issue. Nationality of mother, father's profession, mother's profession, it becomes an important issue. Say if you're written, your father is, a businessman. You'll usually say, okay, what sort of business is doing? What's the thing like? Whatever. Have you ever joined your father's business and so and so? Or if your father is a civil servant, your father is a police officer, okay. And it makes a lot of difference, though it is not openly said so. Okay, nobody gives you marks, but then it makes a little different impression. Especially if your father is from the defense forces or from the police forces or otherwise. And if a defense, I see. Well, usually people think, children of the defense forces, since they got a little better facilities, better education, they ought to be better. So, where is your father? Now tell me, have you, this is a very pet question, if your father has got a government service or a defense service where it keeps moving around, up and down, okay, your father is in government service. Was it a transferable service? No, yes, it is a transfer. Tell me, which all places have you moved with your father? Sir, I've, and so and so place. Sir, question could be, sir, my father, as I remember from my school days, my father was posted in A place, B place, C place. You may not remember in terms of years, but you generally know that my father has been placed. Your answer could be, sir, actually I don't know, sir. I don't know where my father got posted, sir. I was studying in my school, sir. हम तो अपने मम्मी के साथ रहते थे, ठीक है? अपने पास मम्मी को रहते थे. Dad used to keep roaming around this thing. I didn't pay much attention to it. Good impression or bad impression? Yes, sir. Tell me yourself. If you give the reply. But why I'm saying this is what people reply. Because suddenly when you are confronted with a question for which answer you don't know, my dad has been, they will like, tell me last 3 postings of a dad. So, matlab, what is happening in your mind is that, oh my God, it's a simple question, my dad ki posting mujhe yaad nahi hai. So you are trying to conjecture. Sir, last I remember he was in Haldwani, or so and so. After that he got posted elsewhere, so and so. But yes, if your dad was in defense forces, sometimes there is an element of excuse. Sir, actually when dad ऐसे जगह पर रहते हैं उनको पता नहीं लगता है. वो 56 AP होता है, 99 AP होता है. My dad used to tell me, उनका secret रहता है. People will not ask you. But a father is a civil servant, or he's been a teacher, he's been a professor, he's in a government service, and you don't know his last 3 postings. Good or bad? Not good, definitely. So, when you're looking at your dad, professors, okay, say for instance, if my father, let's say your father was a teacher, for the matter. He must have been teacher in a school, college, whatever it is. At least you should know this thing, the school, which schools are there. I'll come to when your schooling comes, what questions will come up. But till after your father, mother is concerned, if both of them are serving, please get to know the details of their professions, last postings, etc. For all you know, you may not be asked, but unless you are prepared, okay, you will not be. Because I told you, 40 to 50% question comes from here, is not out of nuts. It's a huge amount of experience that you have done. Okay. There are certain members, like chairman is asking. उनका काम है थोड़ा सा आपको दिखेंगे वो क्या बोलते हैं आपको डैफ को. अच्छा ये रामपुर का वासी है. अच्छा हाँ उसको पूछते हैं थोड़ा सा. अच्छा इसके पिताजी तो टीचर है, मैं भी टीचर था यार, थोड़ा टीचर के बारे में पूछते हैं थोड़ा सा क्या है. They are already making up certain questions. Now, if your dad has been a teacher, yes, you may get a question that tell us which are the places you have served, number one, or what does your father teach. But you may also get a question that have you asked your father about the new education policy? What does he think about it? Tell me, before I come ask your opinion, have you ever asked your father? What it shows, your level of social contact with your parents. Am I able to discuss subjects with my parents, with my father, with my mother, with my brothers, sisters? This is a social element which you find out, and we find this out more in corporate and defense. The question is sometimes asked in civil services, but this is predominantly asked there, but a question of this is asked to find out your social adaptability and social communication with your parents and your relatives. There are many people, let me tell you, who come blatantly, नहीं sir, मेरे dad के साथ कोई discussion नहीं होता है sir. Even if you're not having a discussion, for God's sake, don't tell in the interview. Tips. Okay, तुम सोचोगे सर मैं तो पूरा खुला हूँ सर, आई एम ओपन, जो मैं हूँ वही बोल देता हूँ, आई एम नॉट बॉदर्ड अबाउट दिस थिंग. मैं तो बोल दिया इंटरव्यू में, डैड के साथ बात नहीं होता है. मैं डैड इज इन बिजनेसमैन, आते नहीं है, कुछ नहीं होता है, वो बात नहीं होता है. ओके, दैट मस्ट बी अ पर्सनल फीलिंग, बट डोंट एवर से दिस इन एन इंटरव्यू बोर्ड. Idea sharing is people do speak because you are in a different level of mental state at that moment of time. क्या बोलते हो, क्या नहीं बोलते हो, क्या मुंह से निकल जाता है, आपको पता नहीं लगता है. So unless you are sensitized to this level कि मैं ये बोलूँ या ना बोलूँ, and you have rehearsed in advance, on the spot sometimes very difficult because you are still young. You must understand this. You can't conjecture the dynamics of questions which are being asked, who keeps coming like arrows left, right and center to you. I have interviewed people at a CEO level, at a CFO level, etc. in the corporate, where even if they've got 20, 30 years, 20, 25 years of experience, etc., they keep fluttering the moment you ask some fundamental basic questions. So, you are young, you just appearing for one examination, second examination, so and so. So, the answer lies is that मैं जितना प्रिपेयर हो सकता हूँ मैं प्रिपेयर करूँगा. इतने प्रिपेयर करने के बाद शायद उसमें से बिल्कुल नहीं आएगा, बट अगर आ गया तो क्यों मेरे? You have lost an opportunity at that moment of time. An opportunity which you could have easily mastered. ऐसे नहीं कि I am asking you, please tell me about Antarctica, expeditions, or you tell me the recent Nobel Prize won for physics, उसकी क्या thesis था? You may have read that, you may not have. Okay, तो बोलते नहीं यार मैं IAS के दे रहा हूँ ना, ये सवाल जरूर आएगा. अभी नोबेल प्राइज वाला पढ़ो कर, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. I don't say that. Okay, the recent Nobel Prize in literature, this Korean girl is one, let me read. They are also required. It's not that. I'll come to that level of other one. But this, don't neglect this. Don't neglect this. यहाँ पर लिखा है industries, business, self-employed. If your dad is self-employed, okay, and so and so. And if you already filled up or about to fill up this DAF, एक तो पहले भरा होगा आपने, which already must gone. DAF 1 must have already gone. Yeah, okay. So, but housewife is a very, very safe for your mother. Okay, इसको पर कोई सवाल नहीं आएगा. Okay, housewife is okay. But if you write my mother is a social worker, she may be definitely is a respectable job of social worker, and so God, I must know what that social work is all about. If she's working for an NGO, if she's working for a UN agency, if she's working for ABCD, you must know about that. Housewife will not draw any questions because it's a huge one, housewife. Okay, but if a mother is in a particular thing, be prepared. Usually mother का नहीं पूछते हैं, ज़्यादा father का पूछते हैं, but be prepared if you write your mother is so and so. Now, if your father is in service, the post held by him, okay, this is very important. Then he says, if retired, indicate the post by him at the time of his retirement. If your mother in service, so and so. So why this thing has been put in the UPSC format? It's not that, if your father is a civil servant or he's been IAS or IPS, तुमको कोई extra number मिल जाएगा. ऐसा नहीं है. It is essentially to know that in what background you have been brought up with. That's number one. And number two, if you find sometimes students or candidates come not from that privileged family, okay, so we tend to also moderate our questions accordingly. Okay, not that, we will give you this thing, like this girl, I told you from Kerala, she had written, my father, is self-employed. Yeah, I recollect. So one of the members asked, what does your father do? Her response was with glee and happiness. Sir, my father is a fisherman. That took the entire board by surprise. The way she replied. She had never an iota of any feeling, if I tell my father is a fisherman, that I will be possibly not be. A lot of people come with this thinking, if my father is a laborer, if my father is a rickshaw puller, if my father is so-and-so, if I tell the interview board, either I will draw a mercy or I may not draw. So a lot of things come into play. But one factor what you saw in this girl is that she was so proud of her father's profession. It itself shows us that she has a character. And then we followed up with a lot of questions on how do you help your father, how does it help, and so and so, and so and so, so and so, so. 3-4 questions. That alone, father's profession, it swung by 20 marks, 25 marks. From this, I gave you the example, it was from here only, father's profession. And this was towards the end, not that it's asked from the beginning. So when you write, say if your dad is a teacher, your dad is a whatever profession it is, for God's sake, please get to know about what your dad is. If your father is a lawyer, you should know whether he's a criminal lawyer or he's a corporate lawyer, okay, or he's into any arbitration or a company law, whatever it is. Okay, if your father is in farmer, let's say for agriculture, okay, you must know what farming it is, how much of land have you got, how much so and so, is there any modernization which is taking place, your father so and so, okay. So if your father is a doctor, you must know his specialty, which hospital he is working in, right? Which are the areas that he is mastered in, okay. And now be ready that if your father has been a doctor, do you think the health challenges of this country is adequate enough? Can you really solve it now that you have been brought up in a doctor's family? Do you think, are you doing adequately for our health of the citizens of this country? And a lot of questions can come on health issues, you know what it is like. Health mein budget nahi hai, falana nahi hai, kaise hai. So many things are coming in health. Health is emerged a big subject after the COVID. So many things happening in the health sector. And if your dad has been a doctor, or you yourself has been a doctor, be ready that you will be जैसे वो इजराइल वाले मारते हैं ना मिसाइल्स, ओके, ऑन हिजबुल्ला, ऐसे आपको बस ठक ठक करके आएगा और उस समय बोलोगे सर नहीं मैं तो आई डोंट नो मच, आई never ever give a statement even out of naivety कि sir I don't know where my dad this thing or where my dad was posted, I don't know my dad's profession, I don't know my so and so. No, there is no excuse for this, absolutely no excuse. And this has to be told in a very very precise manner and not they were thinking and telling. Sir my dad was in sir वो अम्बाला में थे सर, उसके बाद मुझे याद है कहीं साउथ में गए थे सर, एक कोई कोडाईकनाल करके सो कोई जगह है सर, उनको वहीं पर भेज दिए सर, ठीक है. So if you talk in very loose terms about your dad, it gives out a very different meaning of your personality. You will not realize, but we are like your dad says, so we realize, we start feeling the pinch. Yeah, your dad के बारे में ऐसा बोलता है तो पता नहीं what respect he's got for elders of this nature. You may not realize कि सर एक्चुअली अम्बाला में पोस्टिंग था, फिर कहीं साउथ में कोई कोडाईकनाल कोई जगह है करके, कोई कोडाईकनाल, सी द वर्ड्स, कोई जरूरत नहीं था कोई कोडाईकनाल बोलने के लिए. You could have said कि sir he was in Ambala, from there he moved to Kodaikanal. But out of your eagerness, you are saying सर कोई ऐसे कोडाईकनाल कैसे जगह है सर, वहाँ पर उन गए थे सर, और वहाँ से उनको नॉर्थ ईस्ट में भेज दिया सर, वो शिलोंग के ऊपर कोई जगह है सर, मुझे अभी याद नहीं है सर. For you, it's okay. I mean, you're talking to a friend, you're talking, but for God's sake, you are an interview board. Please don't think they're your friends. वो बैठे हैं तुमको नंबर देने के लिए, ठीक है ना. सो कोई चांस नहीं लेना है कि बोल दे कि सर कोई कोडाईकनाल है या शिलोंग के आगे के चले गए थे, मुझे याद नहीं है, ठीक है ना. सो प्लीज फॉर गॉड सेक डोंट टेक दिस चांसेस, बिकॉज एवरीथिंग दैट यू रेस्पॉन्ड विथ, everything that you speak is interpreted. It builds up to your overall impression management. Why do you say that you must be properly attired? Okay. Why do you say that you should be properly shaven? Okay. Why should you must have a good amount of gait? What do you call that? Non-verbal communication. सिखाते हैं ना आपको non-verbal communication. Okay, you must come and sit down, say good morning, give so and so and so. Good morning मत बोलो यार. What is so good about the morning? So ऐसे बड़ी टेंशन में हो तुम. Is there anything good about the morning or afternoon? Tell me. You are in very tension यार. मैं बोलूँगा तो मुझे नंबर मिलेगा, नहीं तो नंबर मिलेगा. What's so good about very so afternoon यार? बोलना तो पड़ेगा ना. Thank you sir. बोलना पड़ेगा नहीं बोलेगा. Okay. तुम बोलेगा सर क्या जरूरत है, थैंक यू को बोले क्या जरूरत है मुझे टाई पहन के जाने के लिए, दिस इज इंडिया यार. ओके, लेट मी प्री वेयर पिजामा कुर्ता इनको. वेल, एवरीथिंग कैन बी जस्टिफाइड इन ओन टर्म्स. लॉट ऑफ you know what is it like. Girls come in saris, formal dress, people come in jackets and ties. Okay, if you don't wear a tie, it's not a this thing, but then you are able to present yourself in a better manner. What things are concerned. चाहे वो गर्मी में जाके पहले सब जाके कोट पहले फेंक देना, ठीक है. सो दैट्स ए डिफरेंट इशू. बट वहाँ पर जाने के बाद जो है, ओके, सो ये भी टिप्स है. कभी कभी जो ना, यू हैव सिंस यू हैव टू पुट ऑन ए जैकेट समथिंग, कोट, डोंट बाय वूलन कोट्स, यू नो. ये कभी लेडीज जो है सिल्क साड़ी में ऊपर आ जाते हैं, और सिल्क साड़ी जो इतना गर्मी होता है, ठीक है, वो तो वहाँ वैसे ही पसीना आ जाता है. So these small tips of how you should not get, I'll come back to later. Okay, coming back to this issue of the parents. Okay, annual income of father. If you are under the EWS scheme, if you are otherwise so and so, you claim the reserve category, please ensure that your father's income that you have mentioned out here and your EWS status matches. But my point, ये तो नहीं तो तुमने EWS, otherwise you will become a case like पूजा खेड़कर. Okay. So ये वाला देख लेना कि that it matches properly, right? District to which your father originally belongs. See, ये सब सोच समझ के बनाया गया है, ऐसे नहीं. District of which father originally belongs. Now, you can say, sir, मैं तो कभी पूछा नहीं डैड को, सर ये कहाँ पर कौन सी, you belong to which district? All my life, sir, he stayed in Delhi, sir. I was born in Delhi, सर. मैं वहाँ पर पढ़ाई वढ़ाई किया, सब कुछ किया. ओके, somebody asked, कभी नहीं पूछा तुमने योर डैड बिलोंग्स टू which district or something? नहीं सर, मौका नहीं मिला. But on the contrary, you say, नहीं सर, my father belongs to Agra, sir, and you see, he was born there. His entire parents, we have an ancestral house there, and he belongs to so and so. अच्छा, good. Nobody is going to ask you now, आगरा के ताजमहल बताओ, अभी नहीं होगा, ठीक है. They will ask you basically whether you know something about a father or not. Okay. State to which your mother originally belongs. Sometimes, you know, there are a lot of cross migrations and marriages which is taking place. Okay. People come and settle down here. Sometimes you will think, क्यों UPSC वाले इतना डाला हुआ है? How does it matter whether my mother originally belongs to Arunachal Pradesh or to Kashmir? How does it matter? मेरा IAS बनने में किसमें क्या लिंकेज है? Don't you think there is this weight? Why has this been put? But why it has been put is just to see the upbringing of a candidate. Okay, being a candidate. So, whatever district to which your mother originally also belongs, your father original belonging, your mother's original belonging. Now, can any of you tell me why this original district of your parents, father, mother, has been put in the DAF? Guess, thoda guess karo. To check candidates about his roots. One, okay, take care. What else? You cadre allotment. Not so much at this stage. Okay, next. What else? Or kuch? But the think, na, because there is some sort of a method in this madness. Let me tell you. Aise. Cultural adaptability is one thing. That comes secondary, but he belongs to a particular district, original district. Okay, और क्या बताओ? हाँ बेटे. This is a little higher psychological evolution that some of us, sometimes we make it when there is a discussion about a candidate. Okay, sometimes the board members don't agree to certain things. Sometimes we do come across that whether this candidate is highly socially adaptable or not. We see his father belonged to so and so place, mother belonged to so and so place, they come and settle down here, the parents have grown in a different environment. Okay, see, quite likely that his or her growth profile is such that she can adjust to any environment. Okay, and since it's an all India service, you can be posted anywhere. Quite likely, isko theek hai. I think possibly it's not a confirmatory. It's not a confirmatory, but थोड़ा सा benefit of doubt दे दो उसको. 160 है, 165 से 170 कर लो. This is where it actually, when assessment comes, ऐसे ही होता है. और कुछ नहीं है. It's all subjective. And if you have managed that overall impression very well, you have managed your DAF questions very well, you have already enhanced your platform in such a manner that तुमने पूरे बंदे को impress कर दिया है. पूरे बंदे को impress कर दिया. Have you got any brothers, sisters got married? कोई नहीं है. Have you got somebody? Anybody? आपको गए होगा ना कभी कभी शादी की प्रपोजल में एक लड़के को और लड़के को बिठा देते हैं, ठीक है ना? Okay, now ask about yourselves. What is the question they ask firstly? What does the girl ask a boy firstly? Suppose शादी के प्रपोजल में जाते हो, you asked, okay भैया बिठा दिए मानो. Okay, what will you ask the boy? Your future husband? हाँ हाँ और तुम क्या पूछोगे? जो टू योर व्हेन यू गो फॉर तो अपनी सो कॉल्ड फ्यूचर वाइफ को So what is the bottom line of asking this question? You're just trying to understand, making some sort of an impression about the other person. Okay, whether he's adequately disposed of, whether he knows this thing, how is he operating environment, whether it will fit me in my life or not. Okay, that's whether it comes out true or not. So similar things also here. Okay, it's just a impression formation, which is we're trying to measure. And before we actually start seeing, I mean, when you see the thing, by and large we make this thing, yeah, it's a sound candidate. Okay, everything is a concern. So without asking questions, more we start confirming through this. There are many people who have divorced parents. Okay, we also want to know of you. We have many people who have cross-cultural marriages, cross-religion marriages. Has the child which is now come out of that particular offspring, a particular combination. Is it sound or not sound? Supposing there is a difference between two religions. Father is, let's say, Christian, mother is in Hindu or something, or whatever it is, so and so. What is the bias of the child? Is it more towards Hindu, more towards Christian? It doesn't matter. But the point is, we just want to know your biases. Because personality के अंदर bias is a very major thing. That actually takes care of a decision making process. आप बोलोगे सर ये 30-40 मिनट आप इतने सब निकाल देते हो हमारे ऊपर अंदर. So this is where that combined experience of 15 or 16 to 5, 300 years comes into play. That's 300 years, you are 20 plus. So give us that much amount of leverage to find out as to what it is like. And since it is not कि ये आंसर करेगा तो उसको 5 देंगे, ये इसको 10 देंगे, ये इसको 15 देंगे, वो नहीं है. It's all subject. So that impression form up. So your DAF is actually a pathway for you to establish your personality in a very positive manner. If you're using this data correctly, you have established yourself. If you've not used it, then you have missed the bus. You missed the opportunity. Okay, come to next. Roll number, of course, nothing much into that. Father's present personality, if this is give last address, present mother. So if you can imagine, so many things have been asked about father, mother. कभी सोचा आपने यहाँ पर बिफोर आई टोल्ड यू अबाउट दिस कि यार इंटरव्यू मेरा हो रहा है, मेरे डैड का हो रहा है या मॉम का हो रहा है? इतने सारे क्वेश्चन क्यों पूछे जाए यूपीएससी को? क्या लगी पड़ी है उसको? वेयर माई फादर वाज पोस्टेड, माई मदर वाज पोस्टेड, मदर वाज फ्रॉम व्हिच ओरिजिनल डिस्ट्रिक्ट, फादर कौन सा ओरिजिनल डिस्ट्रिक्ट है? क्या जरूरत है सब पूछने के लिए? कभी सोचा आपने? कभी स्टडी किया? हैव यू, नाउ दैट यू हैव ऑलरेडी क्लियर द प्रीलिम्स, टेल मी हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू स्टडीड the DAF from this perspective? Just raise your hand. What you discussed today? Yes or no? No, no. This is where the importance comes in. Why is there so much of questions? This I have not designed. UPSC has designed. So there is some change in the DAF form. I will not reveal because part of the Examination Reforms Commission of the Civil Services. So उसमें कई सारे हमने change लाए हैं. That will come from possibly next year onwards. But this has been, when it was done with a purpose. Okay, it was done with a purpose. Much long years back when psychology evaluation of candidates formed a very, very predominant role. And people used to be trained that if a candidate answers this manner, then you go to assess them on this personality. Unfortunately, let me share with you that this is somehow or other not being that much implemented because of lack of time. We are trying to bring in changes rather just having 12, 13 candidates, 14 candidates per day is just not possible. How to bring down 8 to 9? That work is going on. But it has suffered. But it's not that, it cannot be asked or may not be evaluated. Idea is that when you are preparing, when you know the fact that DAF can form about for 50% of the competent likely questions, why not prepare? Why not think about it? Will it be wise enough for me to leave it? So the issue here is that father's present postal address and so and so. And quite like, let's say your dad now is posted in Indore. Okay, so have you been to Indore? Yes, I've been to Indore. Can you tell us something about Indore, please? Indore is a historically renowned this thing. It belonged to Scindias, Holkers, yeah. Okay. So from there must be a history buff in the interview board. Okay. Can you tell us some prominent figures as far as the Holkers dynasty is concerned? So a lot of questions. Or Indore, Indore has become a smart city. It's number 1 smart city in the country today. Yes, sir. So you feel very elated. So you feel nice that you belong to Indore. Yes, sir. Because why? Sir, it is a smart city. Ye murga mil gaya. Now tell me, what do you understand by smart city? Tell us, what are the components of a smart city? So from Indore, if you belong to Indore and if you have not studied smart city, because I think it's number 1 for the last 2-3 years in the country. Eh? Cleaners also, smart also, I think. Clean. Okay, we'll get into clean, Swachhata. Achha, clean. Achha, tell me, what are the parameters? How do you make a city clean? If you belong to Indore and you say, हाँ सर मैं तो इंदौर का हूँ, मैं सबसे साफ सिटी हुआ. अच्छा बेटे, अच्छा ये बताओ, बात सही है. आप मुझे बताओ, what are the parameters generally laid down to assess a town or a city clean? अगर आपने सोच समझ के उसको पढ़ा होगा, फिर तो आप 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 बता दोगे. नहीं तो विल स्टार्ट ऑफ विद सर वो रोड साफ होना चाहिए सर, वो ड्रेन साफ होना चाहिए सर, ठीक है सर, बिजली ठीक होना चाहिए सर, ठीक है ना. सो यू आर जस्ट ट्राई टू टेक आउट पॉइंट्स फ्रॉम द थिन एयर and try to put it. But if you have done this intelligent analysis, okay, that my father posting Indore mein hai aur my father belong to MP or Indore so and so and so, let me do a full study on this particular place. I'm quite likely to get a question on these issues. So you are well prepared. As you grow up, you know, you start getting focus, get selected in service. There's something called a cultural intelligence. In Western civil services, this is given one of the highest priorities. That before you get into a particular area, which used to be there prevalent during the ICS days, Indian Civil Services days, and in the initial part of the IAS when every administrator, collector, before they went to a particular place, they are supposed to have a full listing of cultural intelligence and social intelligence. That is to know each and every thing about that particular place. So, because this aids administrative capability. So, what you have conveyed is that the moment you say ki that my father is so and so karke, because that's very recent, father's present address. You can say ki sir, my father actually belonged to Hubli in Karnataka sir, but quite likely he won't have gone. Your father belonged to Hubli, then he shifted. तुम पैदा हुए हो दिल्ली में, तो शायद हुबली क्यों जाओगे? Still accepted. But a father is now posted in Indore. अब तुमको खुद को, now you are grown up, you know your father. तुम तो उस टाइम में बच्ची थी, अब बच्चा था, शायद जानकर तुमको माफ कर दिया. यार तुम तो अभी सिविल सर्विस का तैयार कर रहे हो. योर डैड इज इन इंदौर, तुमको खुद नहीं मालूम इंदौर के बारे में क्या है. He is not asking you the history of Holkar dynasty. He is not asking you the archaeology of Indore. He is asking you, भैया इंदौर क्लीन सिटी बना है, अब मुझे बताओ क्या डेफिनेशन क्या है. बिकॉज isn't the part of a municipality action cleanliness. और कल तुम एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर बनोगे, aren't you going to be part of this thing? Yes or no? He is not asking the martiality of Indore. कि भाई रानी झांसी ने जो किया था, अब मुझे बताओ उसके बारे में, कौन से घोड़े में बैठी थी वो. ओके, वो तो नहीं हो रहा है. He is asking you, तुम इंदौर का हो, your dad is in इंदौर, इंदौर तुम्हारा साफ सुथरा शहर है, बताइए तुम अभी IAS बनो, कलेक्टर बनेगा, व्हाट आर द क्राइटेरिया फॉर ग्रेडिंग अ सिटी क्लीन? रीजनेबल क्वेश्चन, नॉट क्वेश्चन, यस और नो? तो जोर से बताओ. So if you have assessed it as a reasonable question, as a student, as a candidate, have I prepared myself reasonably well or not so far? मैंने सर एक्चुअली प्रिपेयर नहीं किया. मैं तो सर सारे नेशनल इंटरनेशनल इवेंट्स को तैयारी कर रहा था सर. यूक्रेन रशिया के लड़ाई कैसे हो रहा है, वो अरब इजराइल वाला हमास में कैसे किया है, सब मैंने बजट की पूरी तैयारी की है, सब कुछ मैंने उस टाइम पे लगा हुआ था सर. मैं तो इंदौर का मैंने कोई सोचा नहीं था सर. कल सवाल आ गया इंदौर के बारे में. क्वेश्चन है, यार बच्चों तुमने खुद लिखा है. तो इंटरव्यू ऑफिसर सर कि मैंने तो कोई गलती नहीं किया, तूने लिखा है डैड बिलोंग्स टू बी पोस्टेड इन इंदौर. Sounds logical. Okay, come to even if a mother is serving, mother's present postal address or where they are. Idea is to say if a father mother are different, your father may be posted elsewhere, your mother may be posted elsewhere. Okay, how often do they meet? How often do you go meet your parents? There are social dimensions that we want to basically assess on these issues. If you say कि नहीं sir, my dad काम करते हैं, मुझे तो टाइम ही नहीं मिलता सर जाने के लिए, सर मुझे पढ़ाई कर रहा हूँ सर, क्यों बनी सर, इसकी कंपटीशन के लिए तो तैयारी करना था, पिछले 3 साल से मैं कोचिंग ले रहा हूँ सर, कहाँ डैड मॉम को मिलने के लिए टाइम मिलता है सर. You want to convey कि how serious you are, but actually you are conveying different things by not going to your parents. That means you do not value your parental this thing. You are giving so much to your career and profession that you have not visited your father mother for the last 3 years, despite the fact that they're in 2 separate places. It's not a good personality. So if somebody told you like this, what you're trying to share in this thing, then only you will be able to prepare. Otherwise, you will be very naive in saying कि नहीं sir, मैं तो बोल दिया था. That's why very often when the question comes कि how you perform, या मैंने सब कुछ आंसर कर दिया, या बेटे तुम आंसर जो किया है वो सही किया नहीं किया है, nobody has told you. Okay, so this is also very important. Now, whether a family owns or possesses any of the following assets. Now, these are all economic things, which is again has to be related to your EWS, number 1. Secondly, if you have taken advantage of the fact of BPL, right? If you have taken advantage of reservations of anything for that matter. So this all is a very linking factor. You may not draw questions also on this issue. From here also, I have seen questions being asked that 5 acres of agricultural land and above. Why it is agricultural land given? Why not commercial land? I may not have agricultural land, but I can have 10 acres of commercial land. आजकल तो commercial land भी होता है ना. So why agricultural land only? Why not a commercial land? And why there is no column on commercial properties? My dad can be a real estate owner. My dad can be a big businessman. वो क्यों नहीं लिखा है? Agriculture क्यों लिखा हुआ है? Can anybody give a guess? मन में सोच रहे हो यार इतना मेंस तो हो गया, इसके बारे में कोई सोचा नहीं था अभी तक, हैं? हाँ बेटा बताओ. Think of it. Why is agricultural land written out here? But how does it matter to you, this thing? Taxing, waxing में? See, there's a historical reason. Firstly, since the time we started measuring people's income in this country, one of the major factors was holding of agricultural land, because large number of people are only agriculturists. Till now also, when you start measuring economic indices of people, of village, district and so on so, the agriculture holding of people in the various places is a determinant for finding out your economic status. When the census is being done, okay, how many people are below poverty line, above poverty line, still the reckoning is the holding of agricultural land. Though it is ought to be changed now, but the fact is large number of people are involved essentially with holding agricultural land, and very few people are involved in commercial land. So this term has remained. And as far as you are concerned, it is also linked to your status, if you are SC/ST, if you are reserve character, if you are EWS and so on so. So there should not be any mismatch in this particular issue. So you can't be saying that, you know, I have 50 acres of agricultural land and my annual earning is कितने आजकल monthly earning for EWS? Annual earning 8 lakhs. ऐसे नहीं 50 एकड़ तुम्हारे पास एग्रीकल्चर लैंड है और तुम बोलोगे माई अर्निंग इज 8 lakhs एंड बिलो, हो सकता है क्या? क्यों नहीं हो सकता? हो भी सकता है। पहाड़ों में तुम्हारे पास लैंड है, माउंटेन लोग एग्रीकल्चर करते हैं, या पानी नहीं है राजस्थान में, so that's why the term agriculture comes in. So you can't make that mistake that I given an EWS or I belong to BPL or I belong to ABCD social status and I'm owning 50 acres of agricultural land. ये कई बार हुआ है सर, एक्चुअली गलती से लेके एक जीरो लग गया सर, आई डिडंट नो दिस, होता है गलती से, और यू नॉट इवन थॉट ऑफ इट कि दैट दिस इज गॉट एन इम्प्लीकेशन. हाउ डज इट मैटर वेदर आई राइट 10 acres or 50 acres? आउट ऑफ टोटल इग्नोरेंस यू टेंड टू ऑल्सो राइट सो मेनी थिंग्स, और वहां पर आप बंदे फंस जाते हो. You actually may be having, you may have so many reasons. Say actually we have a joint property, it's not divided. हमारा फैमिली के पास 50 एकड़ है, मैंने लिख दिया सर 50 एकड़, ठीक है ना, but actually it's a joint property. So what happens is that the moment you are questioning the interview board, you are not questioning, you are not trying to justify. Maybe you have never thought about it, but since a question has been asked, तुमने 50 एकड़ क्यों लिखा है, and then you say यार ये तो थोड़ा गड़बड़ हो गया, then you start justifying it. So this economic status is basically trying to find out the economic status of the candidate. Okay, has to be very aptly put it. Because from here, if not asking your personal economic status, we may ask you, is there any, do you feel that now that your land holding is so low in so and so, what land reforms has been carried out? Are you aware? Say like your father is a farmer, and so and so, what land reforms have been carried out? Or if you join as a collector tomorrow, okay, when do you think this land reforms have taken place, and how is it going to impact the economic progress of a country? Say for instance, you are from a good family and you have got 100 acres of land. You may still draw a question, tell me in today's circumstances, are you 100 acres of land when people are not there, is your entire family owning the 100 acres? Okay, don't you think that, you know, the land should be divided among so and so? You may get questions on land reforms the moment you are known that your father holds a good amount of land. You may not come out of notice, but so if a father has got 100 acres of land, don't make a mistake of writing 10 acres of land also. So write authentic, but then whatever you are writing has to be absolutely justified. So for that, what is the answer? Answer is that I have got to self-question each and everything that I've written in the draft, or I'm going to, even if I written it, doesn't matter. Now let me do a cross analytics and a post-mortem of everything that I've written, and I will write down each and every likely question that may come and what will be the likely answer. So this then comes your educational qualification. You have only reached paragraph 4. Here, as far as school is concerned, we are not bothered about your subjects that you have taken, but the place. SP Bose, name of the board of the university. Now, who is HP Bose? ये किसने लिखा है? HP Bose. हिमाचल प्रदेश की. Anybody from Himachal? It must be board of, it's a board. Okay. Himachal board. Okay. GPGC Bilaspur, name of the institution. What is full form GPGC? Anybody from Bilaspur? Even if there's, will not own up now. GPGC. Okay. Idea is that if you've written GPGC, can somebody Google it and find out what is GPGC? Yeah, one of you. Okay. Minerva Senior Secondary School, SBM Public Senior School, Kandror. Kandror is a place. ये क्या? घुमरविन. ये तो मैंने नहीं सुना था अभी तक. I've served in Himachal Pradesh. This is ये actual है ऐसे लिया हुआ है. Fictitious. Actual है. Okay, if the actually I have not heard this place Kanroor, unless the spelling is wrong. Has anybody from Himachal? मैं पूछूंगा नहीं, हाथ तो खड़ा कर लो. Okay, so I'm quite likely to, यार SBM का मतलब फुल फॉर्म क्या है बताओ? मिनरवा चलो ठीक है, GPGC का फुल फॉर्म क्या था बताओ? Government Post Graduate College. Okay, so if you have studied in such a thing, you are quite likely to know this. I'm not that you will not know, but at the spur of a moment वो याद नहीं आता है. गवर्नमेंट कॉलेज से याद आता है, बट कभी कभी ना फनी नेम्स रहते हैं. ओके, श्री अंतलय महाविद्यालय पता ना महाराज ऋषिकेश वगैरह वगैरह, कई सारे नाम आजकल तो सो मेनी इंस्टीट्यूशंस आर कमिंग, बट एट द निक ऑफ द मोमेंट समबडी टेल्स यू कि दैट यू आर नॉट टू रिकलेक्ट. इफ इट इज अ महर्षि अनंत विश्वविद्यालय समथिंग, नाउ इन इंटरव्यू में बैठे सडनली आस्क यू टेल मी व्हाट इज MA महाराष्ट्र AMAV स्टैंड्स फॉर. सर वो तो याद नहीं आ रहा है सर अभी तक, जस्ट गिव मी मोमेंट सर. उफ सर वो हाथ अभी निकल रहा है सर, अभी याद आ रहा है सर. एक्चुअली सर यू आर लॉस्ट 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 20 seconds. यू आर लुकिंग लेफ्ट राइट. ओके, मन में क्या चल रहा है? यार मेरा कॉलेज का मैंने नाम याद नहीं आ रहा है, ये लोग क्या सोचेंगे हमारे बारे में. बात समझ रहे हो नहीं? बात समझ, they may not be thinking, it may be just we may take it even broadly, या भूल भाल गए कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, but the fact is if you had given that answer well, don't you think you have scored a better mark, better impression? And more so if it is a difficult thing that you could remember, महर्षि वगैरह 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 सोचो. आजकल तो बड़े सारे नाम आ जाते हैं ना कॉलेजों की, ये तो इजी टू रिमेंबर. क्या गवर्नमेंट तो याद आ जाएगा, बट जस्ट थिंक इफ इट इज गुरु प्रसाद गोविंद सिंह समथिंग इट इज देयर, तो क्या हो जाएगा? याद तो नहीं आएगा ना. सो यूजुअली क्वेश्चंस आर आल्सो ड्रॉन just to tell you that, just to find out how much you know about your educational institution. If you have studied in an institution for 6-7 years, for that matter, or 2-3 years in a college, we are expected that you must know about that college. जिसके नाम पे कॉलेज बना हुआ है. A lot of people who come from Maitri college, यहाँ पर दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी वाले हैं, फलाना है. We ask this, it's a very favorite question, who is Maitri? How many, anybody from Maitri here? Or any other college in Delhi University? आप कौन से, you know, हाँ, दयाल सिंह. अभी दयाल सिंह कौन है बताओ? Not a good answer. You all heard? Not that you were trying to assess him. He studied from Dayal College. But he has not, he is given 3 sentences. Usme he had not mentioned who is Dayal. Because yaad nahi aa raha hai. This didn't strike to you immediately. But if you are prepared, कि yes, likely मैं Dayal College पूछूं. Sir, Dayal Singh was actually a freedom fighter. ABCD. He belongs originally to Pakistan, Lahore. And so on so forth. काम खत्म. You agree my point? I am not trying to do this thing. The same mistake what you have done will be committed by him also. If I am asking, so तुम्हारा कौन सा कॉलेज है? शहीद भगत सिंह. अच्छा, ये तो सच में ही बोल दिया तुमने शहीद भगत. ओके, बट इसको मैं आई एम स्मार्ट इनफ इज दिस थिंग. आई आस्क यू एक चीज बताओ. ओके, शहीद भगत सिंह वाज अ मार्टियर, देयर इज नो डाउट अबाउट इट. शहीद भगत सिंह ने किसको मारा था लंदन में जाकर? हाँ, फंस गए ना. शहीद भगत सिंह is a very common answer. There is no problem. But as the interviewer, why should I ask him who is Shahid Bhagat Singh? तुम तो ऐसे जवाब दे देगा. But I want to know something more. Okay, he went and killed somebody in London. वो उधम सिंह था. तो भगत सिंह किसको मारा था? हैं? सॉरी लाहौर, लाहौर नॉट लंदन। हाँ, किसको मारा था? जोर से बताओ। हाउ मेनी एवर हर्ड हिज नेम, दिस फेलो जिसको मारा था? हर्ड? अब तो हाथ उठा दोगे सब, क्योंकि मेंस क्लियर कर दिया। ओके, तो इशू इज दैट दिस आंसर मस्ट कम इन ब्रीफ, spontaneous, and the fact that you know about it. It is not knowing, it is not the issue that you know about it. It's the question of having known it, how confident you are put across. अब अपने आप बोलो दयाल सिंह के बारे में, तुम दोबारा मैं खड़ा कर दूंगा, आप अच्छे बोलोगे। अभी पहली बार जब आता है ना, बिकॉज यू आर नॉट थॉट अ बिट कि शायद कोई मुझे दयाल सिंह पूछेगा कर। सो योर इंस्टीट्यूशंस नेम एंड दिस थिंग आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। यू मैं आस्क सर हाउ डज इट मैटर, मैं तो कलेक्टर बनूँ, अब क्या फ़र्क पड़ता कौन सी कॉलेज में पढ़ रहा हूँ? नो, इशू हियर इज दैट वी वांट टू नो कि दैट हाउ मच डीप you can go into this thing, whether you have that initiative, whether you have that ability to find out as to where you studied, you know everything or not. That shows a personality. If I can't know कि जिस कॉलेज में पढ़ा हूँ उसकी बैकग्राउंड क्या है, जिसके नाम पे बना हुआ है, वो तो जरूर कोई महान व्यक्ति होगा ना, तुम्हारा मेरे नाम पे तो नहीं बना होगा, ठीक है, कि उस महान व्यक्ति तो बना होगा ना। अगर उस महान व्यक्ति को अरे मैं उसको मुझे मालूम नहीं है, तो व्हाट एफर्ट आई हैव डन? इसका मतलब है कल मैं कलेक्टर बन जाऊं या सेक्रेटरी बन जाऊं, आई विल नॉट इवन बी बॉदर्ड अबाउट एनी इंपॉर्टेंट पर्सन एज फार थिंग्स आर कंसर्न्ड. दिस हाउ यू इंटरप्रेट. लेट मी टेल यू दिस. This guy will be so detached in his new job that he will never be bothered about who is a martyr, who is this thing, वो फलाना को देश के लिए काम किया है, फलाना काम किया है, इसको कोई इसका मतलब नहीं है, ये सिर्फ कैरियरिस्ट है. मैं और मेरा लाइफ और मैं कैरियर. ये जब वो 7 साल एक स्कूल में पढ़ा है और उसके इतने बड़े लोग के उसके बारे में 7 साल का पता नहीं लगा, तो ये क्या पता लगाएगा? You getting my point? The implications of this. Okay. So this is where all this thing comes. Then your marks. There's a marks also. Yes. Percentage of marks out here. Generally, we just have a broad view of your marks that you got, just to get an impression. But it really doesn't matter whether you got 60% or 90%. Okay. But don't fudge marks here. Don't, for God's sake, don't fudge marks. Though there's no time for to cross check. But कभी-कभी क्या होता है ना, if you first it, आप पूछे हाँ अच्छा बताओ कितने तुम्हारा मार्क्स था वहाँ पर, जैसे somebody wants to check up, out of this thing, and actually if you have got 62, अब आपने गलती से 82 लिख दिया with a prior thinking कि that सर वो 6 लिखते 8 लिखते 6 हो गया, तो 6 लिखते 8 हो गया कि मैं जवाब दे दूंगा, फंस जाओगे? नहीं फंस जाओगे. And since I told you from the beginning that you remain in a different mental frame out there, okay, वहाँ पर इतने जल्दी कंजक्चर करने के लिए समय नहीं होता है. And immediately the falsehood comes out. Suppose you got 62, आपने 82 लिख दिया, भाई आपने तो जहाँ पर 82 लिखा है, you don't know what to do. Either you नहीं सर मुझे तो 82 मिला है, but 62 क्यों लिखा? सर शायद गलती से लिख गया होगा. One mistake can bring you down straight. You must have been answering all the questions very well. ओके अगर एक गलती आपने यहाँ पर कर दिया कि सर शायद वो मैं 6 लिखते लिखते 8 हो गया, we immediately put a finger on integrity. And integrity is a major column that you want to check up. Now how do you actually want to find out integrity? You are not in job, whether the moment we start thinking of integrity, people start thinking इसका level of corruption, मतलब does he have intention to for financial fraud or something? It's so difficult to find out at this level. But what we find out is that जो तुमने खुद लिखा है, are you really sincere to what you've written? Are you really, you have that much integrity to write the truth about yourself? अगर तुम खुद के लिए नहीं लिख सकते तो दूसरों क्या करोगे यार? That means this guy can fudge. This guy can be a fraud at every stage of life. ये खुद की मार्क्स अगर फर्स्ट कर लेता है, अब खुद की he is not sincere enough to see whether it is 82 or 62. Okay, for all you know, you must have done a genuine mistake. For all you know, but this will be unpardonable. This will be unpardonable. So the lesson to carry home is that this has to be absolutely perfect. Nobody is trying to bring a certificate and saying it. Okay, but for God's sake, आपने यहाँ पर 82 के बदले आपने 62 आपने किया है, आपने बोल दिया कि 62 by mistake. Your interview is finished. You can take it from me. This is one mistake. Interview is finished. You can come back again for next year. It is so important. Sometimes I have seen board members arguing among themselves. नहीं बच्चे ने गलती कर दिया. Or some chairmen are adamant. He says, no way. Just no way. How can he make a mistake in this? ये छोटे से उसमें जो है आपका पूरा मेहनत निकल जाता है. So be absolutely be careful on this particular issue. Okay, when you write, because this is something आपका मेहनत का फल है. And you cannot afford to fudge your मेहनत. कि मैं 62 हूँ मैं 82 लिख दिया हूँ. इसका मतलब हर जगह पे फर्ज कर लोगे आप. बात सही नहीं? Are you understanding what I am trying to tell you? This small little mistake, if it's in a character, you will do anywhere for that matter. Okay, so this gives out your character if you are not fudging. This gives out your ability to go into details. Okay, ability to comprehend, ability to understand the basics and fundamentals of your system. Okay, and if you have not mastered कि मैं 7 साल एक वहाँ पर स्कूल में पढ़ा हूँ और उसकी मिनर्वा कौन मालूम नहीं मुझे और फलाना कौन मालूम नहीं मुझे, that means you have absolutely conveyed a wrong impression. So this is where the importance of education details comes in, because so many people are absolutely careless, I find, okay, in entering all these things. Here again, when it comes to your post-graduation subject, okay, you have taken geology. If it differs with your optional, let us take it, or your basic subject that you had, if it differs, prepare answers fully well. तुमने तो जियोलॉजी में पूरा किया है, पीजी किया जियोलॉजी में, तुम साइकोलॉजी क्यों ऑप्शनल लिया? When optional subject was created, it was created with the aim that some people has got expertise in this thing. If he's given a chance, then he or she will be allowed to come out more on that particular subject. He will be a good asset tomorrow. But later it has taken the form of a mark fetching. यार इसको कहाँ से जिसमें मुझे अच्छा मार्क्स मिलेगा उसको मैं ले रहा हूँ करके. This correction is being done in the examination very shortly, but till such time it comes up, the fact is, the question that will come is that तुम तो जियोलॉजी वाले हो, तुम साइकोलॉजी क्यों लिया है? No, you will answer a question. Answer. It's not that you will not answer. Sir, actually psychology is a study of human beings, sir. It goes deep into study of mind. And as an administrator, sir, I will be more empowered to handle administration if I learn this thing so and so. वो अब बैठे बैठे आंसर तो कर दोगे, इतना तो दिमाग है, दैट्स आपने मेंस क्लियर किया है, ठीक है ना, उतना कर ही दोगे. बट द बेसिक सवाल कि तुम जियोलॉजी क्यों नहीं लिया, ये जो चीज़ जो आपने बताया कि क्या ये जियोलॉजी में नहीं होता है क्या? व्हाट इज जियोलॉजी? स्टडी ऑफ animals. If studying animals, you can understand animals better, तो all the more better that you should have taken zoology. यार तुम अगर तुम एनिमल को पहचान सकते हो, पढ़ सकते हो, तुम आदमी को तो ऐसे पढ़ सकते हो. Here is a species who cannot speak and you want to understand him. आदमी तो बोल सकता है. You will get these funny questions. I'm just giving sample questions. He says you had geology with you had mastered geology, everything, sir. But if your logic, because आपने psychology लिया है नंबर के लिए, वो तो आप वहाँ पर बताओगे नहीं, तो असली चीज़ें बताओगे नहीं, वो हमें मालूम है, ठीक है. बट आप क्या कंजप्चर करते हो उस टाइम पे. अगर आपको वहां पर फ्रेम करके जवाब देना है, फॉर गॉड सेक प्रिपेयर दैट आंसर इन एडवांस प्रॉपरली. लिख लो कि मैं सर साइकोलॉजी लिया था इस केसेस के लिए. आई थॉट दिस वन. I know I have got expertise in geology as far as things are concerned, but for ABCD I did not take it. Whatever, I'm not giving you sample answers here because all of you will have different this thing. But for God's sake, if it is differing from your main subject, उसकी जवाब पहले से बना के रखो. उस टाइम पे तैयारी मत करो. ऑन द स्पॉट तैयारी करने से इट में गो ठक निकल जाएगा या चांसेस से कहीं ना कहीं रुक जाएगा. और यू विल बी आस्क्ड विद अ क्वेश्चन ऑफ सच अ डिफिकल्ट नेचर, तो आपको पता नहीं लगा. अच्छा तुम साइकोलॉजी यू फील दैट यू विल बी एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड ह्यूमन बींग्स प्रॉपरली. टेल मी द टेक्निक्स ऑफ फाइंडिंग आउट सो ऑन सो कर. आपने तो तैयारी किया ही नहीं था उसको. वहाँ पर तो यू कांट कैरी आउट साइकोमेट्रिक टेस्ट, ओके, और यू कांट कैरी आउट अदर टेस्ट. जाके आपने कमिट तो कर दिया बिकॉज यू वांट टू इम्प्रेस कि सर एज ए एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर आई शुड नो ह्यूमन बींग्स, इसलिए मैंने साइकोलॉजी लिया. अच्छा कैसे पता लगाओगे? व्हाट आर हाउ डू यू थिंक यू विल बी नोइंग दी, टेल मी द साइकोलॉजी ऑफ द ह्यूमन बींग्स. आपने तो तैयारी किया नहीं. सो डोंट गेट योरसेल्फ इनटू मड, बिकॉज मेनी टाइम्स इट्स आर डूइंग कि हम वो उसमें चले जाते हैं उस मड के अंदर, ठीक है, उस कीचड़ के अंदर, और वहां से निकलने के लिए हमको मौका नहीं मिलता है. कैसे निकलेंगे? एंड देन यू कीप ऑपरेटिंग फ्रॉम दैट मड ओनली. सो गिवन ए चॉइस, मैं क्यों जाऊं उस दलदल में, क्यों फंसूं मैं? और ये सेव हो सकता है इस दलदल में. हम आई कैन सेव माई सेल्फ इफ आई प्रिपेयर्ड इन एडवांस. इज अ क्वाइट लाइकली क्वेश्चन कि तुमने पढ़ा है, तुमने मास्टर्स किया जियोलॉजी में, पीएचडी किया फलाना फलाना में, तुम ले रहे हो ऑलरेडी ऑप्शन समथिंग एल्स. इज इट ए रैशनल क्वेश्चन? और यू टेल मी फ्रॉम योर साइड, इफ यू आर इन माई पोजिशन, व्हाट विल यू डू? पूछोगे नहीं पूछोगे? अगर ये लाइकली क्वेश्चन है, क्या आपने उसको तैयारी किया है? क्या आपने उसको तैयारी करके लिखा है? क्या आपने कंसल्ट किया है दोस्तों के? यार ये मैं जवाब देने वाला तो कैसे होगा? हैव यू डिस्कस्ड विद द ट्यूटर्स? हैव यू डिस्कस्ड विद अदर पीपल? सो व्हाट इज द लाइकली आंसर दैट आई शुड गिव? एंड दैट आंसर शुड नॉट बी थिंकिंग एट दैट पॉइंट टाइम, बिकॉज आपने बहुत डेलिबरेटली साइकोलॉजी लिया हुआ है. ये नहीं कि किसने उसको बोलते हैं ले लो कर कर, आपने पढ़ा है उसको. तो यू आर नाउ थिंकिंग लेफ्ट राइट थिंग. जो बंदा झूठ बोलता है ना, सबसे पहले हम उसको पकड़ लेते हैं. His head starts moving towards the left. ऐसे देखता है वो. ये जो आंखें है ना उसकी, जो pupils, they start moving towards the left. You won't know this, but we catch you. ये अभी बना रहा है, ये सब इस आंसर बना रहा है उसको, ठीक है. इसका मतलब मालूम है ये तैयारी नहीं है, कुछ बना रहा है. पर कुछ लोग अच्छे बना देते हैं, ऐसे नहीं है. Pretty smart guys, वो बैठे बैठे अच्छे बना देते हैं. But that is rare. There are smart guys who make nice answers also. But why do you want to get into daldali? If you can operate from a stable platform. Because ये तुमने लिखा है ना, जियोलॉजी. चेयरमैन तो नहीं लिखा है ना, बोर्ड वाले ने नहीं लिखा है ना, सोशल ऑप्शनल भी तुमने लिखा है. So how do you think that you will not get a question of this nature? Okay. Next come to having regard to answers given against 1, 2, 3, 4 is the state intention. You claim your homestead is UT. State के बारे में, when it comes to state, forget about what is written, but then this is important, the state which you belong to. Quite likely you will get questions, 90% about your state. Especially states which have come under certain disputes recently. अगर मानो मणिपुर का हो, ठीक है ना, मणिपुर में क्या हुआ था, रॉयट हुआ था अभी, ओके. अब उत्तराखंड में हो, उत्तराखंड में व्हाट इज लेटेस्ट पीपल what is the most prominent thing in Uttarakhand happening now? You see, but disasters. It's become very disaster prone. Okay. बिल तो आता रहता है, ठीक है. और फॉर दैट मैटर बिहार, यूजुअल क्वेश्चन, या उसकी पॉवर्टी क्यों है, वाई इज अ पोर स्टेट, लिटरेसी है, फलाना क्या है. बंगाल, recent case which has taken place in hospital, what do you think, so and so करके. So if you belong to a particular state which has come into prominence recently for something or the other, उसको तैयारी करो. If you belong to West Bengal, you should know the entire details of the case which has happened recently. If you belong to, say, like Orissa and all, usually people ask questions of Lord Jagannath. Okay, so you belong to, do you know when was Jagannath temple constructed? Okay, something, or which is a World Heritage Site in this place, let's say like Konark is the World Heritage Site. Or questions like, it's also a very disaster thing, cyclone हमेशा आता रहता है, ठीक है. We heard that, Orissa has made a lot of improvement in disasters, etc. Okay, so have you got an idea about what is it like? If you are belonging to that place, okay. Or if you have taken disaster management as an optional, this thing. No, disaster management is not an optional, it's a subject. It's okay. So like this, idea is to tell you that the state on which you belong to has to be known fully. One pet question they ask you about forest cover, I remember. Because climate is the issue today. So they will ask you, okay, Himachal mein, tell me what is the forest cover of Himachal Pradesh? Okay, what is the demography of Himachal Pradesh? Population kya hai, falana kya hai? Okay. What are is there any industrial, advancement which has taken place in Himachal Pradesh? If you belong to Kerala, okay, Kerala has got some peculiar problems, right? And also study something which has happened recently in any of the states per se. It may be political or semi-political, doesn't matter, but you got to know about it. You belong to Haryana. Oh, Haryana पर भी elections हुआ है ना अभी, हाँ, अच्छा. What is your opinion about elections in Haryana? You have to give a very, very apolitical reply. You may be asked a question of political, but you have to give a apolitical reply. अगर आपने तैयारी नहीं किया है तो वहाँ पर स्टार्ट कर लोगे, सर वो कांग्रेस बेकार था सर, वाह, ओके, वो आपने बड़े समझने लगे सर कि देखो उनको उसका जो आ गया था उसके पोल मैनिफेस्टो में ये था सर, यहाँ तक एग्जिट पोल भी उन्होंने सर वो कर दिया कि हम जीत जाएंगे कर पता नहीं क्या समझते हैं अपने आप को, ठीक है. सो इफ यू आर नॉट प्रिपेयर्ड यू विल कम आउट विद सच आंसर्स बिकॉज द क्वेश्चन बीइंग आस्क्ड इन अ वेरी कैजुअल मैनर. हाँ भाई बताओ तो क्या चल रहा है, इलेक्शन कैसा चला था, तो यू थिंकिंग यार ये कैजुअल क्वेश्चन पूछा, मैं भी कैजुअल रिप्लाई कर लेता हूँ. वो कभी मत करना गलती. Even if the question is asked casually, for you, you have to reply formally. Because number उसको नहीं मिल रहा है, number तुम, you have to get the numbers. So ये मत, उसने वो member ने पूछ लिया यार कैसा सर, why did the Congress lose in Haryana, यार बताओ थोड़ा सा. He'll ask you very casually. सर वो lose करना ही था सर, वो मालूम है उसके leadership कैसा है. Okay, I'm not taking names, but it might be unfair. Okay. सर ऐसा फलान हुआ है, सर वो मल्लिकार्जुन बहुत बेकार आदमी है सर, वो बुढ़ा हो गया फिर भी उतरने उसका. आई एम नॉट जोकिंग, यू गेट रेस्पॉन्स ऑफ दिस नेचर. ओके, बिकॉज पीपल थिंक कि दैट कैजुअल क्वेश्चन एंटेल्स अ कैजुअल आंसर. ओके, कभी भी गलती मत करना. ओके, और इतना भी सीरियस मत होना कि हर चीज आप सीरियस में लो, क्यों आपको फिर पसीना ही पसीना हो जाएगा आपका. ओके, 10-15 minutes you will start sweating if you take everything seriously. Okay, so don't even do that also, but you got to be absolutely normal and balanced, and that normal and balance and normal can only come if you have made an effort. We have only so far gone to serial 7 and you discussed so many things. I'm sure many of you wouldn't have thought about it, because it is so benign भर तो भर दिया यार, क्या फर्क पड़ता है. let me make preparations for major international and national issues plus वगैरह वगैरह जो भी कुछ है. yes, you will be asked questions on that. वो भी छोड़ेगा नहीं आपको, ठीक है ना. बट इसको पर अगर मास्टरी नहीं किया आपने तो you have actually lost something which is on a table. यार मेरे बस में था, मैं उसको कर नहीं पाया. Okay, so to reinforce the point, you got to know each and everything about your state, both demography, geography, okay, cultural, social, and recent some incidents taken place. If something happened in Orissa regarding, some police station के अंदर जो है ना, you heard of that case? Police station के अंदर वो मारपीट हुआ, they ill-treated an army officer and lady कर बड़े पेपर सेपर में आया था. पढ़ा है आपने ना? हाँ, because this is the minds of the people now. So you might get, अच्छा, you're from Orissa. Have you heard about the recent incident which has taken place in a police station there? Yes, sir. Can you tell us something about that? Now, you can't be found recollecting. If you are from Orissa, this incident, you must say, okay, sir, this happened in so-and-so place. Thak, 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 this has happened. What's your opinion on it, this issue? So answer, sir, I think this is absolutely, a lack of a criminal justice system not being proper. Okay, the police cannot afford to mistreat of this nature. Suppose you are the SP, what will you do in a place? Question आ जाएगा तुम्हारा. You made a statement, criminal justice system. You said the police station didn't function well. Okay, you may get IPS tomorrow if you are not educated in merit. दो आपने IS दिया. Suppose आप SP बनो वहाँ पर, आप उस टाइम पे क्या करते? आपने सोचा नहीं? सर मैं तो साइकोलॉजी पढ़ रहा था सर. I didn't think of this issue. But the fact is you belong to Orissa. And an incident has happened. If you are appearing for an interview from December, January, this incident has happened 3-4 months back. You ought to know because this has caught the national headlines and international headlines, not even international headlines. I don't know if any of you followed the news. Even when I gave a press interview, I was called. I put it up in a very mild manner and said that what has happened. Let it not escalate into a conflict between the armed forces and the police. Because it was turning to that level. Because in the core meeting to resolve the issue, I was part of the core committee to meet the political chief minister and other people. And after that I was asked to give a press statement. हमें खुद नहीं मालूम था क्या बोलने के लिए. वो पहुंच गए प्रेस वाले. So I summed it up, without hackling too many feathers. We have a lackadaisical police system. Okay, we have a lackadaisical judicial systems. But when you are asked to address this issue during interviews, okay, you actually have to frame the answers properly. You can't be criticizing police there. You can't be criticizing judiciary there. सर बेकार है, इतने सारे कोर्ट केसेस हमें पड़े हुए हैं, ठीक है ना, कुछ नहीं होता है, ठीक है. So all this thing matters. Say like how am I linking? If this was Orissa, okay, you could have got a question on Jagannath, you could have a question on social culture, you could have got on the issue of disasters and so on so forth. 4-5 question, okay, and then possibly link up this new case which has happened. आपने अगर 5-6 क्वेश्चन तैयारी किया, क्वाइट लाइकली एक क्वेश्चन आपको पूछा जाएगा, आ सकता है, ठीक है ना, 2 क्वेश्चन हो सकता है, कुछ भी नहीं हो सकता है. That's a different issue. But I can tell you with conviction that you will get a question related to a state, minimum 1 question, if you belong. Because state is very important. Because we are picking off a civil services. You are not joining a defense, you are not joining banks or something. Because this is something you ought to know as a civil servant. State क्या होता है, district क्या होता है, गांव क्या होता है, फलाना क्या होता है. We want to know your ability to understand in depth of all these things. अदरवाइज इंटरव्यू करने की जरूरत ही नहीं था. आपने तो अच्छे वाले पास कर लिए रिटर्न टेस्ट के अंदर, ठीक है, जैसे हो जाएगा ले जाओ, अभी बन जाओ कलेक्टर, मेरिट लिस्ट देख लो, कर लो. But why is interview given so much importance is this. An interview is not about big things. I can repeat now, Interview is not about big things. Interview is about small things. How you expertise, how you basically get yourself expertise on small issues. Okay, come to the next one.
Does the vast syllabus of general studies for the UPSC prelims overwhelm you to initiate your preparation for the civil services examination? Is your apprehension and self-doubt coming in the way of your success in joining the civil services? Comprehend your preparation for UPSC Prelims 2025 with the fast-track course targeting general studies with innovative curriculum, revision and mentorship. Starting from 19th November at 1 p.m., the course offers coverage of UPSC GS Prelims subjects, dedicated mentorship support and guidance for performance maximization, access to PT 365 classes for current affairs preparation, sectional mini tests for regular assessment and performance, personalized student portal to access study material, access to live and online classes. Enroll today and make prelims your stepping stone to proceed to the UPSC mains.
So we come to serial 7 that says, please give particulars of the university, state, public, national level in respect of prizes, medals, scholarship, etc., sports, NCC, positions, so and so. Now this comes in terms of achievements. Okay. Now ये जो है ना, ये बहुत important है. ये सोच समझ के लिखना. अगर आपने अचीवमेंट नहीं किया है, please don't write. Okay. Qualified CSR, UGC, JRF, so and so, rank 45, qualified GATE, so and so, second prize in oral presentation competition, Chandigarh, Science Congress, so and so kar. Yes, if you have got that achievement, please write, nothing in it. But then each and everything has to be prepared. Now what do you have to prepare in this? Okay, now you are qualified GATE in 2019. What are the total rank, अच्छा लिखा है 1185. How many people are there? You got 1185, how many people appeared for it? Okay. Another question is, what is the aim of GATE? Okay, a lot of questions come from GATE का मतलब क्या होता है? What is the full form of GATE? Representation engineering. Okay. Why it is called, why do you have to have a test like a GATE? And where it is applicable? What is the importance of GATE? Let's take you have appeared for GATE. Many of you won't have appeared, but anybody who appeared GATE out here? Nobody. Okay, but these questions do come up that why do you have a GATE? What is the full form of GATE? How many people appeared for the GATE? Okay, now that you have got a high marks in GATE, why do you want to join a different service? Because GATE is essentially for higher education. Now PSUs have taken it as a part of this thing. Okay, so but if you see the aim of GATE per se, it was basically for higher education. People wanted to join PhDs, people want to join higher education. Now the marks have been taken by some of the government institutions, especially the PSUs, for making entry into them. In fact, I have a personal example of, in this case, my state government, where I was, they wanted to introduce GATE as an entry for recruiting into the assistant executive engineers, civil engineers. They say we will not do a test, we will go by the GATE marks. There was a conflict between me and the government on this issue. They say the whole India is taking GATE marks. I say, listen, the aim of GATE is one, the aim of a competitive exam is another. A competitive exam is a domain specific one. I am trying to take people who can function effectively as assistant executive engineers and beyond over a period of time. So I need to take professionals into it. The gate has been designed for a particular purpose. Don't try to bring that template and put it here. वो गवर्नमेंट में ईगो प्रॉब्लम होता है बड़ा. नो, वी हैव डिसाइडेड, हम तो ऑर्डर पास कर दिया है, मतलब ऐसे दैट्स नॉट करेक्ट. यू नॉट कंसल्टेड मी. I did agree to that. The government had to change these orders. They gave a complete this thinking that you will spoil the ethics of competitive exams the moment you bring in gate, because gate is meant for something. आप उसका aim देखो. So I gave out my reasoning and so करके, which the government has to amend that particular thing. So why I'm telling you is a little example for my personal listening is that you may, the moment you write something, you got to know entirely thing. Okay, gate का full form क्या होता है, aim क्या होता है, फलाना क्या है. Now come to present a science congress. He has present second prize in oral presentation in science congress. Tell me, if you are in my place, interview board, and आपने science congress के ऊपर लिखा है, क्या question पूछोगे? Let me have somebody from back. If you are the interview board and there's a candidate who has written this, what question could you ask him? Good. What topic? What was the topic? What else can you ask him? Yeah, this girl there. नहीं, say you are a member of the board, you are asking a candidate now. उसने बोल रहा कि okay, बताओ what was the topic of your this thing. Apart from that question, what other question can you ask that candidate? What is your takeaway? और क्या है? Yeah, one could be this. What was the procedure? What else? History of Science Congress. Yes, a good question. Yeah. Good. Why this Congress is doing bad? What is the what contribution have they made towards this thing? Okay. Anything else? Yeah. What have we learnt, right? So something on policy. Anybody else? Why it is called Congress? Yes. Okay. Your response has clearly shown the diversity of the questions that can come by merely this is Science Congress is written. So if I am writing this as a candidate, am I really prepared for at least 50% of this type of questions? Because मैं तो लिख दिया, काम खत्म. Okay, little realizing that I have offered this on the table to the board members now to ask me questions. I may not have written as a candidate, but मैं लिख दिया ना. You yourself have come out with 10 different perspectives of this. I have not told you those 10 different perspectives. You have said these 10 different perspectives, and you are so right on this issue. In fact, the boy who said about this Congress, this is something which is, well, why Congress? What is the role of scientific Congress? Why it is so and so and so? Okay. But the question is, have I debated this and made a notes of that these are the likely questions, likely answer that I can give? वो हम नहीं करते, हमने लिख दिया. So So this is where the importance of DAF comes in. Anything that I put here has got an interpretation value, has got a significance value, which can put me into a high pedestal or it can bring me down. और ये जो लिखा is highly individualistic. जो एक कैंडिडेट के लिए होगा, दूसरे कैंडिडेट के लिए अलग होगा. So you cannot say कि सर यार इसका मुझे रिप्लाई बना के दे देना. No, इसकी रिप्लाई जवाब तुमको बनाना पड़ेगा. By thinking about it कि इसके ऊपर क्या क्वेश्चन आ सकते हैं. Topic is, let's say कि he says कि oral, my topic, this was a science congress. What was his background? This guy was geology wala. Is it geology? Okay. Say for instance, tell me what was your topic on these issues. So if he says, I proposed on the new genetic system of mammals, how it has evolved over a period of time, okay, and how the genetic system has, overcrossed the timeline in last so many years. So let's take, this was his thesis, or this was the topic he was talking of. So the question might come is, the moment I say, okay, genetic sequencing of mammals, what do you understand by genetic sequencing? Can you tell us something? How does it differs as for other species? Now that you are a geology student, this itself can elicit a lot of questions from you. Here a lot of people write, I came first in debate in my so-and-so karke. Invariably, you will get a question, what is the topic of the debate? And invariably, let me tell you, people start thinking, कि सर वो डिबेट का टॉपिक ये था, ये पता नहीं सर. एब्सोल्युटली नॉन पार्डनेबल. तुमने लिखा है कि मैंने फर्स्ट इन डिबेट हूं, और ऐसा नहीं कि तुमको 40 साल हो गया, 20 साल पहले तुम क्या होगा, ज्यादा 4 साल 5 साल पहले क्या होगा, डिपेंडिंग अपॉन व्हाट एज यू आर. और तुमने ये भरा है कुछ महीने पहले. हाउ कैन यू डू दिस कार्डिनल मिस्टेक कि सर मुझे याद नहीं है, और आई एम जस्ट ट्राइंग टू रिकलेक्ट. That means what it conveys? Integrity. Either you are trying to make up to try to impress the board कि सर मैंने डिबेट में फर्स्ट हुआ था करके, or for that matter you are so casual that even if you come first you are still not bothered, क्योंकि मेरे लिए तो फर्स्ट होना एक कोई हैबिट है यार, इधर फर्स्ट हो जाता उधर फर्स्ट हो जाता, क्या फर्क पड़ता. ओके, हैबिट है मेरा, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं, मैं लिख दिया, कोई प्रॉब्लम. यू आर सो कैजुअल. In both things approach, you have convert negativity. So the safer part is that if I've written that I've stood first in my debate in my college, you have to identify as to what the topic was. And having identified topic, let's say you've taken a topic of, let's for example, democracy and governance in India. A lot of questions can come. Does democracy ensure effective governance? There are many countries which has got good governance. They are not democratic countries. मानो बोल दिया तुमने democracy and governance. Oh, it's a good idea. In your feeling, in your opinion, what do you think is the best? Should to have effective governance, is a system of democracy suited for it? Now, you are now in a dilemma. You may have said something else. आपको एक question आ गया यहाँ पर. Now the question is being asked which is relevant to your profession. Now questions being asked which could have been asked even in the later part of my thing. Now the question is that, are democratic countries having effective governance? The answer apparently is definitely not yes. It may not be fully no, but definitely not yes, because we have a huge amount of problems in democratic. It's very easy to have effective governance, in centralized administrative systems. If Singapore became one of the finest country of governance, is because there was a fellow called Lee Kuan Yew who was basically, though it was a democracy, but it was an authoritative democracy. If China has progressed so fast as far as things are concerned, it is because of the authoritative systems. But at the same time, we have countries like Japan, we have countries like Korea, okay, who were democratic countries, but have also got effective governance because they have a different type of system which they established. Many people say, sir, Korea advanced ho gaya. People, though it was a democracy, but people don't realize that initial 15 to 20 years of Korea was purely under military democracy. So there are various forms as to how democracies evolved. So if you have been smart enough कि that ये मैं लिखा हूँ democracy and governance, तो मैं उसको पहले तैयार करके रखा हूँ यार, शायद एक क्वेश्चन आ सकता है, and this is a good subject to impress the board. This is how you start taking the board, taking the interview into your own step. नहीं तो otherwise you are on the receiving end. because तुमने खुद लिखा है डिबेट, और अगर पूछा है कि भाई डेमोक्रेसी गवर्नेंस के ऊपर तैयारी करके रखो. मैं ये नहीं बोल रहा तुम झूठ बोलो. सम पीपल डू राइट सम फनी टॉपिक्स एटसेट्रा, ओके, बट be true to yourself. If you come first in debate, I'm sure you have selected a good topic. And in a state of anxiety, the best part is never make up things, because you will commit mistakes. Even if you've taken a funny topic like population growth, etc., whatever it is maybe, you have to write at least 5 question and answers of that topic and keep it ready. Because they are your trump cards. In one go, what you have done is, supposing आपको ये सवाल आ गया, भाई तेरा डिबेट का टॉपिक क्या था, and it is elicited interest in the so and so, you are telling what you know best, isn't it? It is in your command and control. So 2-3 मिनट जो आपने आपके कंट्रोल के अंदर जो आपने बता दिया ना, possibly you have made an impression of another 10 minutes. So this is the importance of these issues. Here I find hobbies इसके बाद आएगा, okay, अच्छा, medals, sports, NCC. Now many people वो लिख लेते हैं NCC मैंने join किया है फिलहाल, because they feel, you know, it will give a good impression. Especially people who opted for IPS, etc. Sir, I'm actually disciplined, sir. I've joined the NCC. Yes, you must have joined the NCC, or you must have known about the NCC, because वहाँ पर कोई तुमको certificate तो मांगा था नहीं है. You must have cleared part A of the NCC, but आपने लिख दिया कि सर मैंने part C भी किया है, because you want to say कि I am a very very matured serious student of NCC. They've got A, B, C, okay, NCC के अंदर. तो कई लोग बोलते हैं यार तू ए क्यों लिखता है, सी लिख दे यार, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, बंदा इंप्रेस हो जाएगा. ठीक है, आर यू अंडरस्टैंडिंग व्हाट दिस थिंग? पीपल विल एडवाइज यू सी लिख दे यार, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, कौन थोड़ी पूछेगा सी क्या होता है. बट यू डू दिस कार्डिनल मिस्टेक. यू नो, इफ ए चैप इज लिटिल, यू हैव ए गाय फ्रॉम somebody who knows the NCC, etc., he asks you, अच्छा tell me what are the topics you cover in certificate C of the NCC. फंस गया. और फिर NCC का मोटा थोड़ा बता, फुल फॉर्म तो बता दोगे, नेशनल कैडेट कोर. टेल मी व्हाट इज द एम ऑफ NCC, व्हाट इज द थीम ऑफ NCC. कैन यू टेल मी सम हिस्ट्री ऑफ NCC, why it started? Today the present government wants to enhance NCC training in India, introduce in more and more colleges. You are aware of it. Tell me the present government policy of enhancing NCC in most of the school colleges. Is it a good policy or not a good policy? Because तुमने NCC से लिखा है, और ये भी लिखा है कि मैं BSc किया हूँ. अगर उसके बारे में आपको जानकारी नहीं है, the implications of NCC, the expansion of NCC in different places, again आप अपने दलदल में फंस गए. The whole purpose is that you have to rise above that daldali. Don't put your foot in something where you will find difficult to extricate. And it can happen, even if you've done it absolutely, if you're not prepared, you're quite likely to go into daldali. So if you put in NCC, say for instance, यहाँ पर लिखा है sports NCC, as a class representative during graduation, I, with the help of my teachers, organized a visit to Deoli Car Fish Breeding Center, Bilaspur, to gain knowledge about fish rearing and fisheries sector. Okay, now this is not a very correct way of this. लिखा हुआ है sports NCC position of distinct leadership held in the school and colleges. Okay, I'll come to this second part of it. I was just talking about the NCC, sports in NCC. But there are a lot of good sportsmen also, let me tell you. Okay, you played hockey for this school, college, you played football, you played so and so. Okay, there are people. And if you've done it, please for God's sake write it. But if your game is, let's say, football, say for instance, sir, I played football for my college, a school for that matter. You got to know details of football. And what are the details of football? Knowing the players. Okay, you not only have to know people like Cristiano Ronaldo or Messi, you got to know players of Indian players. Right? Tell and also know something about Indian football team. Okay, how is the football team evolving? Right? Who was the referee of the Indian team? Sorry, coach of the Indian team. And also sometimes you get some stupid questions. Let me tell you. What is the dimension of a goal post? क्यों तुमने फुटबॉल लिखा है भैया, तुम्हें तो हॉकी पोस्ट के बारे में पूछेंगे नहीं? बात सही नहीं है ना? क्यों? दयाल सिंह कॉलेज. ओके, सो फुटबॉल मैंने लिखा है. So if you have written particular sports, please put all possible questions on that particular sports and prepare for it. If you have written hockey, know about it. Cricket, both cricket लिखते हैं. Sir, I am very fond of cricket. The question comes, what do you mean by fond? Sir, मैं देखता हूँ. I am actually I keep witnessing cricket. खेलते हो? सर वो कॉलेज में थोड़ा बहुत है ना, खेल लेते थे, तो कुछ नहीं. बट हाउ डू डिफाइन दैट यू आर फॉन्ड ऑफ क्रिकेट? यहां पर क्यों लिखा तुमने? हु द हेल डजंट सी क्रिकेट मैच? हु द हेल डजंट वॉक ओवर इनटू कॉलेज, चल यार थोड़ा सा बैटिंग कर लेते हैं, थोड़ा सा बॉलिंग कर लेते हैं. ओके, सब लोग करते हैं, करते नहीं करते हो? पर तुमको यहां पर लिखने की क्या जरूरत था अगर तुमने स्कूल रिप्रेजेंट नहीं किया तो? इट कन्वेज लैक ऑफ अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ फीलिंग ऑफ अ डैफ. सर मैंने ऐसे लिख दिया सर. Again you are trying to get into a daldali. If you have played, good enough. If you represent the school, college, excellent. If you have not played, God's sake don't write. And that is, nobody is going to give you negative marks just because you have not played games. Don't make impression for the sake of impression. इसमें काफी लोग फंस जाते हैं ये एनसीसी, स्पोर्ट्स एंड हॉबीज के अंदर. And unnecessarily, which you can avoid. In achievements, people keep writing. कई कहते achievement में इतना they have put extra page also. Can you imagine? और achievement में आता है कि सर मैंने फ्लावरिंग कंपटीशन के अंदर जो है मैंने रोज का जो है एक नया वैरायटी निकाला था, उसके बारे में लिखा हुआ है. अरे यार तुम ठीक है, but have the wisdom to only write those 2-3 important. You may be hell of a excellent guy. बट यहाँ पर सिविल सर्विस के वो है, तुमको रोज के बारे में कौन पूछेगा इतना? बट पुट डाउन समथिंग व्हिच यू एक्सेल्ड इन. इफ यू आर गुड पेंटर, राइट अबाउट पेंटिंग. इफ यू आर गुड इन सिंगिंग, इफ यू आर गुड इन सिंगिंग एंड नॉट बाथरूम सिंगिंग. तो गाना क्या गाते हो? सर मैं सब कुछ गाना गा लेता हूँ सर. व्हाट्स योर एक्सपर्टीज? आर यू फाउंड ऑफ क्लासिकल? आर यू फाउंड ऑफ? नहीं सर, बाथरूम वाले हैं सर हम. आई एम फाउंड ऑफ बाथरूम सिंगिंग. Now, bathroom singing is not supposed to be written out here as an achievement. Is that an achievement? अगर हर बंदा जो है bathroom singer becomes an achiever, फिर तो we'll have achievers and achievers only. तो स्कूल कॉलेज में यूं ही लोग बाथरूम में गाना गाते हैं, तो और कभी मौका नहीं मिलता है. बाकी जगह गाना गाओ, तुम चुप कर यहाँ पर तो फालतू में. ठीक है? I don't know how many of us stayed in hostels, etc. Okay. We keep sing, we used to sing in the hostel just to tell that, listen, I am still in the toilet, please don't enter. But school college में तो धक्का मार के अंदर घुस जाते हैं ना, even if you're taking bath or something. I don't know how many of you know the culture of National Defense Academy. Anybody got idea about the bathing culture in National Defense Academy? No, कभी सुना भी नहीं. I got a shock of my life. कि वहाँ पर नहाना तो होता है, you have to take bath absolutely naked and open bathrooms. But then we were kids those days, with initial hesitation, and after that we went off. Okay, little lighter mood, what I was talking. So what I was talking is that this is an important element as you're coming towards serial 7, 8 or something. Yes. यहाँ पर you may have escaped that initial part of it. I just told you for the sake of it. कि वो जो personal question, that question, so and so. Okay. Father, mother, parents वगैरह. You may still escape that. इसको आप escape नहीं कर पाओगे. If you have written achievements, if you have written hobbies, you've written so, like let's example this. This guy has written, help of my teachers organize a visit to Deoli Carp Fish Breeding Center, Bilaspur, to gain knowledge about fish rearing and fish and so and so. Now tell me, in your wisdom, is this really an achievement? Yes or no? It can be yes, it can be no, it can be partly yes, it can be partly no. To put up in this thing where he says, I with the help of my teachers organized, ये लिखने क्या जरूरत था? Help of my teachers. He says, I led. If you want to write, I led a team, okay, or an educational workshop. That's all on fish rearing or fish breeding. Because every word that you put across has to convey a very positive character in you. And what is the positive character? It's called leadership here. If you written, sir, I have led, or I was a leader, या ये लिखने क्या जरूरत था? Help of my teachers. टीचर की जरूरत है तुमको भी करने के लिए. You are already a graduation, I think. Okay. टीचर क्या जरूरत है? So to become having brevity, if he has written, firstly, this is not a very high thing to be put across. Now उसमें क्या होता है कई बार you have done a lot of good things in schools and college, but actually the art of putting across in this format, sometimes somebody doesn't tell you, you don't write it also well. Because कई people take it, यार ठीक है यार स्कूल में first होता है how does it matter, लिखते नहीं है. Or even if not, people write down so many things. So when you write down here, especially positional distinct leadership, you mark this word, leadership held in school or college. You could have been a school prefect, okay. You could have been a college captain. You could have been a student leader. You would have been holding positions in the school management or the college management. So many things are there. So if you have held all these positions, you want to convey very tactfully that I am a leader, which is different from others. So if you have actually represented the college football team in state or for the country or at any level, you must write at level. Represented my college football team at a national level in so and so date, year. That means you are authentic. Came first in debate competition, okay, in college, in bracket 3rd year, rather than 1st year. Whatever it is, authentic. Adjust the UN gold medal in आजकल UN mock test होता है ना आजकल कॉलेज वगैरह में. UN, what is it called? Mock UN. Lot of people write down. Or for that matter, if you have taken leadership in social events, okay, in an NGO, please write it down. But in point form, just limit it to 3, this column. ज़्यादा मत लिखना. Because sometimes people write, इतने लिखते हैं पता नहीं लगता, वो फंस जाते हैं फिर वहाँ पर. Write something which will take you to a position of advantage if you are being asked a question on that. You getting my point? I don't tell you. Don't write something which may take you to a position of disadvantage. come down to issue of extracurricular activities. Angling, which is a method of catching fish. अरे इसको explain करने की क्या जरूरत था? Angling, which is a method of catching fish. You are trying to question the wisdom of the board to say कि they don't know what is angling. ये angling लिख लो सिर्फ. Now people write angling. Question comes, why it is called angling? Why not fishing? What is the difference between angling and fishing? What is an angling rod? What are the baits do you use while angling? Because आपने angling लिखा है ना, बैठे बैठे आपको 3-4 क्वेश्चन पूछ सकता हूँ straight away. Okay, so if you write in angling, now when have you done last angling? Tell me. Now this angling is not that आपने दोस्तों के साथ गया है and एक डंडा आपने मार दिया, ठीक है ना, और एक मछली आ गया कि sir I have done angling now. No, when you write, what is the sentence? Your extracurricular habits, and that means anything which you do it in a very repetitive manner as a part of your hobby, part of your leisure time, etc. That is required to be given. That means I am quite fond of angling, और जब भी मुझे मौका मिलता है, और I make it a point that I go to a nearest river. You can't do angling in a sea. Can you do angling in a sea? You'll have to do it in stable waters, right? I go to a pond, I go to a river, etc. I do my angling there. So when did you do? Last time when I went on an adventure trip up the Himalayas and so and so, when I went from a picnic and so and so, I did my angling so and so. Okay, what type of angling rods have you got? There are so many types of angling rods. एक swivel type होता है, एक round type होता है, एक manual फेंकना होता है, both type होता है. So if you have actually not done angling, you will not be knowing all this. So तुम जैसे since you written angling, angling मत लिखो. अगर नहीं किया तो कुछ जबरदस्ती किया तुम angling लिखने के लिए. अगर तुम यहाँ पर angling लिखा है, be prepared to know everything of angling. Why it is called angling? Can somebody guess? Wild guess. Go. Guess करो कितना. Same ask you the question angle. You are sitting in an interview board. ये mind you, sometime you will get a question जिसके ऊपर आपको कोई idea नहीं है. You will say कि नहीं sir, I don't know. No. You will not take cognizance. We want you to make a try. That is, I told you the fourth factor of when you want to elevate you to. In fact, this we do it. We intensely know that this guy is roaming around 150, 160. He's a good guy. Okay, can we take him to 170? So we'll ask him sometimes stupid questions. आप मन में सोच रहे पता नहीं क्या फालतू क्वेश्चन पूछ रहे हैं, but actually we are trying to test your stress level and your ability to handle in unfamiliar questions. तू बोले नहीं सर मुझे नहीं ट्राई करो तुम, I will not leave you. Okay, sometimes you may feel कि ये बड़े ऐसे लोग यार, मैं बोल रहा हूँ मुझे मालूम नहीं फिर भी मुझे जबरदस्ती कर रहे पूछ रहे. So if angle is related to the angle, that hook, which is it's an angle. अब जो मच्छी पकड़ते हैं ना यहाँ पर, and the fish, when it gets caught, you've seen this. When you throw that damn string, उसके सामने एक angle लगाता है. So from there the word angling has come up. I'm just giving for the knowledge. Okay. So similarly, whatever you write, let's take one angling which is swimming in open waters like lakes and ponds. ये पता नहीं कहाँ से सैंपल उठा के ले आए. लेक्स एंड पॉन्ड्स. भाई पिछले कौन सी लेक में तुमने स्विमिंग किया था यार? सर वो छोटा सा लेक था सर, बड़ा सा लेक नहीं से कोई. नहीं तुमने लेक लिखा तो कुछ तो लेक, एक नेम बताओ लेक का. सर एक्चुअली वो लेक नहीं था सर, एक्चुअली वो छोटा सा लेक था, कोई नाम साम तो है नहीं कुछ तो होगा ना तुमने, बट तुमने लिख दिया. अनलेस यू आर अ गुड स्विमर. ओके, if you've done lake swimming is a big profession by itself. Do you know this? Lake swimming. Okay, So to qualify for lake swimming, you got to minimum do 1.5 kilometers at a stretch. Do you know this? तो लिख दिया. If that fellow board member knows what is lake swimming, अच्छा बताओ भाई, what do you understand by lake swimming? So तुम छलांग मार के तो 100 मीटर कर दिया, 200 मीटर कर लिया. Okay, that's not lake swimming. That's not even pond swimming. Though there is no sports like pond swimming, but lake swimming is a sports. And the minimum qualification for to go into lake swimming is that you have to do minimum 1.5 kilometers. And it's not a small 1.5 kilometers. उसमें तुम free stroke तो कर नहीं पाओगे. You have to do breaststroke. So people to question you, lake swimming, what stroke do you do generally? So I do normally freestyle, sir. पकड़ के. पकड़ गए. You can't do lake swimming freestyle. फिर बोले सर मैं तो सब कुछ आंसर किया था, ये पता नहीं फेल क्यों हो गया मैं. Okay, so be very particular on this thing. Come to swimming in open water. You don't have to write. You write swimming. Swimming. If you have got some medals in your swimming, उसमें, okay, 50 meters, whatever this thing करके, you're in swimming, काम खत्म. Now ये पक्का अब बना रहा है impression management, lakes and ponds. हाँ, you're right. Swimming in open waters. What is closed water? हाँ. So that means he is not in swimming pool. Okay. वो सिर्फ pond और lake में कर रहा है. That means he has to be a good swimmer. So he can throw any amount of questions from here. So that means you are a good swimmer. Now tell me who are the good swimmers in the world? Question may come immediately. Now can you tell me the swimmer which has got the highest number of medals in Olympics? Michael Phelps. ठीक है. So point here is, yeah, somebody else? उससे पहले था? So if you have put it कि swimming, और मैं lake swimming कर रहा हूँ, that means you are a good swimmer. So you got to have interest about the swimmers also. तो थोड़ा swimmer के बारे में जानकारी होनी चाहिए. ठीक है. आपको पूछ लिया कि tell me, or you can ask you who won the largest number of medals in last Olympics in swimming. बोलते सब तो मालूम है. Tell me who is the Indian swimmer, okay, who got a medal in the last Olympics. Commonwealth. अच्छा, ये एक्शन मत करना if you written this. Okay. Exactly the way she said. Okay. The response comes from candidate like this. सर मैं भूल रहा हूँ सर वो. सर ये मत करना. ठीक है ना? सर वो निकल रहा है मेरे हाथ से. Know it? Know it. Don't know it? I'm sorry, sir. माथा मत मारना. ठीक है ना? It happens when you get caught like this in puddle. बाकी में नहीं होगा. क्योंकि आपका मन में क्या चल रहा है? यार मैंने खुद लिखा है, साला इसमें मैं फंस रहा हूं यार. And feeling that, yeah, I wish I could have prepared. I wish I could have done more. आके पूछो कैसा हुआ इंटरव्यू? ना ठीक ठाक हुआ. यार स्विमिंग में फंस गया यार मैं. किसने बोला था तू स्विमिंग लिखने के लिए? तूने खुद किया स्विमिंग या? अब खुद तैयारी तो नहीं किया कुछ ने. सो तुमने अपने आप को फंसा दिया. उसने थोड़ी फंसाया तुमको. So this is then take the next one. Watching science fiction movies, especially those based on time and interdimensional travels. Sometimes I come across such hobbies जिसको मैंने खुद मुझे गोल करके देखना पड़ता है क्या ये. कॉस्मोलॉजी, this thing, that thing. बोला यार तेरे उम्र तो बड़ी 24-25 साल है, ठीक है, तू ये कॉस्मोलॉजी में कहाँ पहुँच गया तुम? Okay, and such funny this thing, you know, just to do an impression management. आपने उसको लिख दिया कि that I should be different from others, number one. I should write something by which the board will get impressed. Okay. And quite often than not, that becomes your suicide pit. Stargazing, cosmological zones. I can, sometime back I written something also. Actually speaking, that people come out with such funny things, you know, you never heard. वो गूगल में मारते हैं कि सोन क्या लिखना है और यूट्यूब वालों को निकालते हैं, वो चेप देते हैं, फिर वो फंस जाते हैं. Though we don't make overall gestures कि तू फंस गया कर, we only feel pity. We immediately move to the next one. But हुआ क्या? You have done a bad impression management. ये नहीं कि इसके लिए तुमने ठीक नहीं किया और इसके लिए हमने 50 नंबर दिया है 275 से, उस 50 से हमको तुमको 20 दे दिया, ऐसे नहीं करते हैं. But what you have done is, you are bedding in your impression management, you have spoiled yourself. Whatever conveyed, he is indecisive. He is a person who actually makes up things for the impression management. Okay. And quite likely his integrity is not very high. Anything which you write and you find that it is not appropriate, it straightway points to integrity. When you understand integrity, what is integrity? Integrity is something integrally in you. You must understand this. And which is within me. मैं खुद लिखा हूं, अब मैं खुद नहीं हूं. Clear cut case of integrity. और उसमें you tend to come down quite badly unless you start making up in the general awareness and so and so. But शुरू में, why we are not trying to give you sectional marks कि इस डाइव के लिए इतना मार्क है फलन फलन होके. No, it gives you a wonderful platform whether to pitch yourself up or to pitch yourself down. और तुम्हारे ये देखो, if you have been in my position in the interview board, ठीक है, you will be asking यार, what is swimming in the bloody open? तुम swimming, tell me something about angling, tell me something about. आप पूछोगे नहीं पूछोगे बताओ, उसने खुद लिखा है, मैंने तो नहीं लिखा इसका. So then what is on time and interdimensional travels? Are you aware of some movies on these lines? Anybody? Interstellar or Back to the Future? ये तुम्हारा तो नहीं है डेफ. ओके. और ऐसा तो नहीं कि तुमने तैयारी किया कि मैं भी ये लिखूंगा कर, ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं. If you are interested in fiction, science, lot of people are interested in science fiction movies. I used to be also interested quite a lot when I used to be young. Okay, that's nice to be interested in this thing. But if you are interested, for God's sake, write it. But you should be able to rattle out 3-4 movies without doing left, without doing right. Okay, and also tell what the picture is all about. If you say, okay, remember 3 movies straight away. Nobody is going to ask you to tell you 10 movies, right? कम से कम 3 का याद रखो, and 3 में से तीनों का जो है थोड़ा बहुत थीम आपको मालूम होना चाहिए. The moment you say about movies, I have seen quite often people ask us, tell me what is the deal here. हमको याद नहीं है what does the movie deal with. They will ask you in a very benign way. Okay. And if you made it up, if you have not actually seen it, okay, you may not remember also that part of time. So this is why this is a very important part of it. Okay. Now come to, I think, so while I was talking about this, though it has got 7 or 8, what is this? 7 है ना? Though it has got 7 serials, but when you divide it, it comes to more than about 20 odd subparts. Now these 20 odd subparts can elicit at least 10 questions. And these 10 questions are in your hand. So unless you have prepared options for each of this, having at least 3 to 4 options, what I could be questions in this, multiply 20 to 360 odd options minimum, or 100 odd options from here, then you can't say that you are fully prepared. And if you generate 100 option questions from your DAF, okay, you actually mastered almost 50%. You understood so far? Okay, since today was basically to deal with DAF, other things we'll tell you later. But then this is what exactly we thought we'll share this with you. And if you have any questions on this, you can shoot. Am I on time or no? Okay. Yeah.
सर अगर नंबर ऑफ अटेम्प्ट्स पे क्वेश्चन पूछा जाता है तो उसे कैसे हैंडल करना होता है?
Number of attempts is the actual number of attempts like
सर इट्स लाइक कि आपने इतने नंबर ऑफ अटेम्प्ट्स दिए, आप वर्किंग एज पॉपुलेशन में आते हैं बट फिर भी आप कोई काम नहीं कर रहे हो, सिर्फ प्रिपरेशन कर रहे हो, तो उस चीज को कैसे हैंडल करेंगे?
you are asking what should be a sample answer to this, or
काइंड ऑफ कि इस तरीके के क्वेश्चंस को हैंडल कैसे कर सकते हैं?
okay, there is no harm in mentioning that I'm absolutely focused, okay, to achieve my goal. And when I decided to achieve my goal and clear these exams, I have given myself minimum 3 years. In the process, sir, if I get in my first chance, nothing like it. But I will try fully for 3 years. And during the 3 years, I would not like to get deviated by working in any other field. Because that's a task which I set to myself. And I would not like to deviate myself. If for some reason, after 3 years, I'm not able to achieve goal, I may consider a hybrid mode of working and also keep preparing, because by that time my preparation would have gone sufficiently high and I can afford to do a hybrid mode. But I have given myself a duration of 3 years. If I can do it first, second, nothing like it. But mentally, he says, why 3 years? Why are you, people may ask you, why are you so pessimistic that you will not get through first chance? He says, sir, I'm being realistic, because the fact that the selection is tough. Out of 6 lakhs, 1,000 is to be selected. Okay. And it is this reason that I have given a space to myself.
सर और जैसे हॉबीज लिखनी है तो उसमें स्पेसिफिक हॉबी लिखनी होती है, लाइक अगर हॉबी लिख रहे हैं डिजिटल आर्ट तो सिर्फ डिजिटल आर्ट लिख के छोड़ सकते हैं, या स्पेसिफिकली लिखना होता है कि आप कौन से फॉर्म
don't have, you write whatever the hobby is. Okay. Like digital art. Have you really done digital art?
यस सर.
Hmm?
यस सर.
Write it, but be prepared to discuss the various forms of digital art. Okay, that's very important. Okay, if they ask you, and the question that might ask you is that, why have you chosen digital art? Why didn't you select the conventional art? Because, okay, so second is that what are the forms of digital art? How is digital art going to help you as a person of creativity? Okay, so like this. So the forms of and the various derivative types of digital arts has to be mastered by you. Okay. Which is quite a normal question. Nobody will ask you why this thing. It is intrinsic that you selected a subject because you thought this is a mark fetching. That's very open secret as far as things are concerned. But saying that, having said that, you say that, sir, I had an option of selecting my own subject, but that same subject, though it had given me advantage, but the syllabus is pretty large, which is actually, tell the truth, and I'm not likely to get that much marks, which I actually should have been thinking. You're taking a risk. People may ask you, ये तुम्हारा subject में तुम नहीं. But sir, actually when I picked up the psychology, as I read through it, I found it so interesting. I find it so interesting that I thought I'll be able to master this subject also. And apart from giving me marks, it also gives me an exposure to a new subject altogether. In the process, I've been able to learn so much of psychology, so much of this thing is going to help me. I'm different case you take in psychology or any subject for that matter. Okay, people take geography. Sir, I took geography because it has got so much of application. I didn't get opportunity as an engineering student or so and so to take geography. But here was an opportunity to learn a new subject. And I thought it got so much of application if I join the civil services, because I have to operate in different districts, different panchayat, different so and so. So knowledge of geography is very important for a civil servant. So I thought I'll take an opportunity in the process to learn a new subject. Okay, sounds convincing? Okay. Yeah.
So
that's it.
So I have seen many interview videos, mock and all. So I'm from medical background. वो किसी भी स्ट्रीम से, किसी भी दूसरी स्ट्रीम से नहीं पूछते हैं कि आप अपनी स्ट्रीम स्विच करके इधर क्यों आ रहे हैं, लाइक इंजीनियरिंग या आर्ट्स बैकग्राउंड. बट वो डॉक्टर से हमेशा पूछते हैं सवाल इन रियल इंटरव्यू ऑल्सो. बट और कोई भी जवाब कन्विंसिंग नहीं हो पाता है, मतलब जैसा जो डॉक्टर कैंडिडेट्स उनको लगता है ऐसा. तो सर इसका क्या सॉल्यूशन हो?
See, it's a well-known fact that today we're getting large amount of people from the professions, whether it is medical, engineering or legal, into the civil services. Okay. So one of the logical answers to such a thing is that I had taken the doctor's profession, on which I had an exposure for 3 to 4 years in hospitals, etc. But as I got exposed to the administration, I realized that in addition to my professional knowledge of so and so, if I could be exposed to the administrative aspects of the health issues, I'll be able to contribute more as far as my professional knowledge is concerned in those fields. For instance, today's health is a big challenge. It's not the question of ultimately curing a particular person, but what matters is that if I can prevent something, if I can take curative action, okay, if I can take actions if I can address issues of public health, I would avoid that terminal issues. So there are much to be required to be done on health issues or on medical issues before a person comes to an hospital. So I think as an administrator, I'll be able to do greater justice if I can address these issues. And my professional knowledge and background as a doctor is going to help me in a better application vis-a-vis a non-doctor, non-medical profession. A sample answer of this nature, wherein you are trying to convey that I have taken a conscious decision of trying to apply my knowledge of medicines, okay, into the field of administration. And today, this is the requirement of the day, so whether it is engineering or it is medical for that matter, unless we diligently apply that knowledge into day-to-day administration, okay, we will not be able to have an overall impact of the sector that you are looking for. This is a concept. You can make up your answers on these lines. Okay, you want to, what is it? Your aim is that your professional knowledge of medicines, you want to apply in administration. Get my point? And there is so much advantage when a professional takes a decision of this particular nature. You might get a question, oh, can you give an example for that matter? So it might just happen that tomorrow there is an epidemic in a particular area, okay, or there is a disaster which has taken place, and suddenly there is an epidemic, it has been followed by epidemic. And if I happen to be on that particular place where I have to take a decision as an administrator, I exactly would now apply my professional knowledge in ensuring, firstly, how to control that epidemic, it doesn't move ahead. I'll be able to give out immediate medical aid so that the people get this thing. I'll be able to ensure that the disease doesn't spread by applying ABCD. I'll be able to ensure that the right amount of medical evacuation takes place. Okay, and also I'll be able to, as a myself, I'll be able to contribute if some persons are in emergency. 5 points. I'm not a doctor. बोल दिया ना तुमको. So you have to handle these questions like this, isn't it? I'm not a doctor. I've given it answers as a doctor. Yeah.
बट सर इशू फिर ये आता है कि मोस्टली डॉक्टर्स फिर वो एंथ्रो वगैरह लेते हैं तो वो फिर अंदर
क्या लेते हैं?
मतलब वो मेडिकल साइंस ऑप्शनल ना लेके एंथ्रोपोलॉजी या कुछ और लेते हैं तो फिर वो सर अंदर
कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. प्लीज डिवाइस योर ओन आंसर व्हिच आर वेरी कन्विंसिंग. यू बताओ, गेट इट रिकॉर्डेड, लिसन, get it recorded, listen. At any point, you will find after much permutation combination, some answers will be convincing to you itself. I would not like to preempt because it will take you in a different direction. Like I did preempt on administration, but I would not like to talk about anthropology in this one. Okay, because I am not qualified in anthropology. I may give you a wrong answer. Remember, but you got to decide where the link is established. And best is, bolo record karo, bolo record karo, bolo record karo. Keep listening it. You'll yourself realize मजा आ रहा नहीं आ रहा है. जैसे तुमको सुनने में मजा आ गया ना, then there's the right answer. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
A stronghold over current affairs is your way to succeed in the UPSC Civil Services examination. Brace yourself and get detailed coverage of relevant news both nationally and internationally. With the monthly current affairs revision program starting from 26th October at 5 p.m. Enroll today and elevate your current affairs knowledge with comprehensive coverage of current affairs compiled through relevant sources such as the Hindu, Indian Express, Economic Times, PIB Yojana and others. Expert support and personalized mentoring. Comprehensive assessment through MCQs and mains-oriented questions.
Watching
interviews and interacting with elderly. Will they be counted as interest?
No. Yeah.
Hobbies to or optional subject. Like my optional is sociology, and I have interest in reading novels that are on social issues mainly. So can I write that in my hobbies?
You can write it if you're really keen on reading on social subjects. Okay. Which you don't have to justify as to why your hobby is social subject. Picking up. You just be absolutely cool. I like reading these subjects. My interest is reading books on social subjects. It may just hit to this thing. Is it the reason you have taken sociology as an option or something? Okay. But we have still not come to that level so far. You see, when we are discussing about this one. So you written that my hobby is to read books on social issues. The question that will elicit straight away to you is, which are the books have you read? Which are your authors? Which are so and so? So automatically you start molding the interview board to ask you those type of questions. Okay. But if you give, sir, actually I took, because I took sociology as an optional, you are putting yourself in the mud. Now tell us the linkage between that. Okay?
So I don't have.
You got to be smart. No, you got to be smart enough as to where to, because at the end of the day, you must understand interview is an art. It's not a science. You got to understand what is the type of board, what is the type of question, what is the sequence of questions, so and so. As long as you understand the whole dynamics of the interview, you'll be able to appreciate and find out as to what type of questions likely to come. See, broadly, we'll always start with the chairman to start putting some settling down questions or something. To come from where, this, that, वगैरह question. ठीक है ना? Some chairmen are very fond of asking little more so, settling down questions. Tell me कहाँ से आया तुम, बस में आया, गाड़ी में आया, ट्रिक है, फलाना है. Okay, it depends upon the level of confidence that a candidate exudes. Because some people who come are very, very, they show a lot of lack of confidence. And I don't mind, there's some girls around, many girls around here. If we find many girls also become absolutely shaken, especially who have never faced an interview board before. Both men and women, I am not talking about girls or something. So candidates exhibit different kind of confidence level when they come in. So we in the board, we just want to ensure that you are settling down firstly before you start tackling one of these issues. Okay, to come to a level playing field. So that is what. Then it will move to right or left. So usme se usually you will find there will be one bureaucrat, there will be an academician, there may be one from the defense, there will be one from so and so. Okay. So तुमको मालूम होना चाहिए कि ब्यूरोक्रेट से जो एकेडमिशियन है वो जरूर मेरा ऑप्शनल को क्वेश्चन पूछेगा या तो उसको क्वेश्चन पूछेगा, बिकॉज ही इज एकेडमिकली ओरिएंटेड. ही विल आस्क यू अबाउट थ्योरी, ही विल आस्क यू अबाउट दिस, ही विल आस्क यू दिस. जैसे ब्यूरोक्रेट को आ जाता है, ही विल स्टार्ट टॉकिंग अबाउट सम एक्सपीरियंसेस. तुम अगर एसपी बन जाओगे, तुम ये बन जाओगे, फलाना कॉन्टीजेंसी टाइप सिचुएशंस, और ही विल आस्क यू समथिंग अबाउट पब्लिक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन एंड सो ऑन. सो then when it comes to a guy from armed forces or police or something, he will ask you if you have done NCC, something about his nature, tell me something about defense policy, something about so and so करके. So तुमको एक broad analysis करना पड़ेगा कि ये likely experts होते हैं, okay, which is generally you might not have a defense guy or you might have a police guy, you might have two professors or you might have one professor, but generally you will have an academician, you will have at least two journalists, one chairman and the other one. Okay, so that makes you 3 and another 2 combination. So tomorrow questions are going to be on this pattern. So when you analyze what type of questions I'll get, you see the panel of the interview board. This is a rough combination. So if you prepare this, why I call it an art? जब ड्रामा करते हो ना तुम लोग, एक्टिंग जो होता है, तुम स्कूल में ड्रामा किया है ना, तुमने एक्टिंग किया है?
Yes sir.
क्या नहीं किया है?
Yes sir.
So when you're acting, which is we call art, you think of a character. Okay, we all have, I don't know how many of you have done those old Shakespeare ones. हम स्कूल में बड़े करते थे, ओथेलो टाइप, ठीक है ना? So you get into that character and you start thinking that this is how Othello does it. Similarly, you have to think that I am sitting there and these 4-5 fellows are asking all sort of stupid questions to me. What is the type of questions they can ask me? So you have to visualize those things. So from here comes your art of visualization. Today is a new art altogether. IT वाला कौन है? ठीक है? Today's art of visualization is a new this thing. And the whole thing is now being converted into what you call AI. Your art of visualization is now moved into AI. Then from AI it will move into virtual. So this is how the whole thing, but the basic thing is an art. You get my point? Yeah. ज़्यादा सोचना मत, सोचो कि मैं एंजॉय करने जा रहा हूँ, ठीक है? बट कॉन्शियस एंजॉयमेंट. तुम ऐसे लिखोगे भाई मैं लेक स्विमिंग कर रहा हूँ, आई यू नॉट डन लेक स्विमिंग, तो फंस जाओगे पूरा, ऐसे डूब जाओगे साला लेक के अंदर, ठीक है? सो और या
Sir, there is a question. First of all, good afternoon, sir. Sir, there is a question which everybody knows that they might get asked in the interview, which is why you want to get into this IAS service. So, sir, what do they try to check with this answer, like our social bent or our honesty, or what?
Aptitude, okay, and also attitude, dono. In the sense that all of us know that the basic thing is that whether you want to join civil services or defense or for that matter, नौकरी चाहिए यार. At the end of the day, which you know, and we are sitting there to give you a job. नौकरी तो चाहिए तुमको, ठीक है ना? That's the fundamental part of it. ओके, इसलिए मैं इतना मेहनत कर रहा हूँ. But why civil services is that we just want to find out couple of things. In what depth have you analyzed your job profile? आप कॉर्पोरेट में जब सिलेक्शन होते हो ना, वो आपको इतने ग्रिल करते हैं आपके जॉब प्रोफाइल के ऊपर. सपोजिंग यू आर गोइंग एज ए, लेट्स टेक मैनेजर ह्यूमन रिसोर्सेज और लॉजिस्टिक्स, they will just bear you, thread you out and everything on human resource, public logistics, you know, because one of the major thing is that how much you know your job or your job profile. Here you don't put that much stress, but you want to know that how much of effort have you made to understand this job per se. So first and foremost is that you should be clear about the job content. If I am joining as a civil services, okay, the idea is that, you know, ki we are so orthodox and we carry legacy colonist views कि that मैं या किसी साल में कलेक्टर बन जाऊंगा या एसपी बन जाऊंगा, because that is the image we carried, because being a feudal state and a colonial state कि that was only the center of power, कि यहाँ पर मैं बन जाऊंगा तो all power is going to be with me. And people have been blatant and openly saying कि सर इसमें पावर होता है, पैसा होता है, सब कुछ होता है, ठीक है ना, मैं क्यों ना ज्वाइन करूं. Some people say कि why not be open on these issues. Okay, that is not what is required. What is required is that why you want to join. So the civil services entail this task of the civil services A, B, C, D, E. In fact, we have slides also to tell you what the slides of the civil services are. Okay, in one of my lectures I have said this. It involves this, and one of the major tasks is that ensuring development, maintaining law and order, okay, enhancing financial prudence as well, so and so, ensuring that the grassroots level democracy is, is implemented at all levels, and so on and so forth, which are given out as a part of duty. So when you say that why you want to join so and so, is that, sir, this here is a service which gives me comprehensive opportunity to look into the development and social welfare of the people. That's number one. Number two, it gives me also an opportunity to be a part of the law and order system, which is today definitely a big challenge as far as this country is concerned. Third, it also gives an opportunity to carry out financial prudence, because huge amount of government money is coming into this thing, which has to be spent at a district and a panchayat level. And if I get opportunity, I'll ensure that all these schemes are getting so and so. Okay. It also gives an opportunity for me to work in any sectors, because after I do a particular service of 10-15 years service, I can be put into any department per se. So I don't think any other service provide that much opportunity to be so and so. And last but not the least, sir, it will give me tremendous amount of opportunity to be part of the policy making. 5 points. Okay? Without thinking much. Read my point.
And sir, what kind of, as a former member of the board, like what kind of answer impressed you? Like is it diplomatic one, blunt, or the last enthusiastic, like the girl who said her father was fisherman? So it was enthusiastically.
It is how you have managed yourself so far. There is nothing standard. If you manage yourself to be a good impression conveyor, that you manage a positive image, okay, you are conveying right positive vibes to the systems. If you have not been able to convey the right amount of impression, you are not conveying the vibes. So if you don't convey the vibes, proper vibes, तुम जो भी बोलोगे ना, it will not be impressionable. So that is why this is very important. The DAF gives you a platform to exercise, to create a vibe in the system. अगर तुम, you are not, you have found कि तुम झूठ लिख रहे हो, गलत चीज लिखे हो, your hobby टेढ़ा मेढ़ा है, लिखते हो तुम किताब पढ़ रहे हो, किताब नहीं पढ़ रहे हो, ठीक है ना, कहानी बना रहे हो, ठीक है, मैं लेक स्विमिंग कर रहा हूँ, जबकि लेक ही नहीं मालूम तुमको कितना क्या करना है, तुम क्या कह रहे हो, you have made yourself put in a different situation altogether. Okay, so this is the first important thing. But subsequently, when you give answers, I told you initially, the fundamental things is that you must understand the question firstly. Don't jump into answers. Number two, जो भी बोलोगे ना थोड़ा सोच समझ के बोलोगे. It's not necessarily कि जो ही खत्म होता है question, you start answering. No. You understand the question, and if you have not understood the question, you please ask again. Okay, sir, can I have the question again, please? Don't make people make very small mistakes. Instead of asking, sir, can I have the question, please? Sir, can you tell me the question, sir, again? So much a difference. The moment you ask a board, sir, can you tell me the question again, sir? But if I ask, sir, can I have the question? Which makes a better impression? Second or first one? Second one, na? But बहुत लोग ये गलती करते हैं. Sir, can you tell me the question again, sir? Maybe a language, maybe a point of view, that's a different issue. But वो हो सकता है if you rehearse. कि अगर by chance मुझे ऐसे question मिलेगा, wherein I have to ask a reinforcement of the question, then how do I ask this question? कि sir, can I have the question again, sir? Can I request you for the question again, sir? थोड़ा सा polite हो, because it is your fault that you have not been able to get the question. It is not his fault. But तुम उसको बोलो, sir, can you ask me the question again, sir? Sometimes it's benign in the sense कि आपको पता नहीं लगता है, maybe because of language or something. But it all can be overcome if you are implicitly sensitive that if you ask a wrong affirmation from the board, it might go the other way. Okay. So it is how you develop those things. So coming back to immediate answering, don't answer immediately. Hold on for some time. Organize that answer in your question, this thing. I saw one girl, he belonged to a remote place in Kashmir, Bhadarwa. Bhadarwa, yes. Initially when I saw her, I did not have a very good impression because I have operated in that area. I know those people and it's quite a backward area. But the girl was fantastic, I'm telling you. Well, out of the world. Everything is said was so simple and so logical. Mark my word, simple and logical. Maybe it's a God's gift, that's a different issue. But then what appeals is not big bombastic responses or something in nature. And I used to see her technique, Any question you ask, you used to wait for a minute. Okay, sir. In the meantime, usko 20-30 seconds or that you should wait for this. It was not very much long, but not very short also. In the meantime, she was structuring her responses. मैं पहले का क्या बोलूं, बाद में क्या बोलूं. That's very important. Logical expressions. That's what will look so. Otherwise, a lot of people know a lot of things. People are very knowledgeable because when it comes to, because you all have qualified in so and so करके, देखो इतना पढ़ाई कर चुके हो, कितने सारे, that information overload is pretty high. There is not a single subject which you do not know at all. Let me tell you, I have yet to come across that a person says totally that I don't know, especially in the IAS. Okay, civil services के अंदर कुछ ना कुछ आपको मालूम है. But many times you know so much of a particular subject, you forget how to frame that particular answer. So it is very important कि मुझे क्वेश्चन की क्या सब्सटेंस क्या मुझे पूछ रहे हैं. And every member of the board has different style of asking questions. Some member will explain a particular point and then will come to the question that is looking for. Some ask you direct a question. Can you tell me about the economic policy of India? Or can you tell me what are the priorities of this year's budget? Straight question. And then I ask you, you must have heard about the budget this year, the finance minister presented it, and so and so. During the time he laid emphasis on lot of priority sectors and not so priority sectors. Can you just tell me what are the priority sectors? Same question, but उसने थोड़ा सा story बना के, this is a style, you can't help it. उसने बता दिया. So in case you are not attentive towards the last part, what she's asking, what here she's asking, the board member, you may be thinking, ये तो budget है. अच्छा budget. बाकी सुनना आपने बंद कर दिया. Budget, you start thinking of budget. You actually listening but not listening. ठीक है, क्योंकि क्वेश्चन है बजट के ऊपर. बट अल्टीमेटली द मेंबर इज गोइंग टू आस्क यू, ओके, may I ask you, can you tell him what are the priorities given out as far as controlling the, let's say, fiscal deficit is concerned? The direct question would have been, can you tell us what are the measures taken for fiscal deficit in this budget? काम कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, तुमको मालूम है या नहीं मालूम है. But if you started with, you must have heard this is budget, the finance minister presented it, and so on, so on, so उसने थोड़ा कहानी करे. Now you can't legislate all these things to members कि that you should ask it. That's a personal style. But ultimately आपने budget सुन लिया. So now you are thinking, यार budget की main highlights क्या था? So आपका दिमाग उसमें चला गया. And in the process, all that I asked you is that tell me what are the issues of fiscal deficit, how to handle it. वो तो भूल गए. उसमें क्या होता है, you have not understood the questions properly, and large amount of problem comes because of this only. इसलिए कि तुमको मालूम नहीं है, कभी कभी तुमको जरूरत से ज्यादा मालूम है, बट आप सुनते हो कम हो, और जो सुनना चाहते हो वही सुनते हो सिर्फ. So wait, have patience, just keep listening to the question in a very, very deliberate manner, and think what exactly is the question is all about. And if you have not been able to understand what is it like, please re-ask. Sir, I have not been able to fully understand what requirement. Can I have the question again? Or I think you're possibly asking on this ABCD. Am I okay? So ask very politely and may get an affirmation that what he or she, the board member, is asking is actually what you are caught on to. नहीं तो वो कुछ सोचेगा और तुम कुछ बोलोगे. And some members are also not very articulate in their asking questions. I've seen it. Okay, especially academicians, I've seen professors, etc. वो पहले बड़ा कहानी बता देंगे आपको, ठीक है, फिर वो गोलमोल हो जाएगा. But that's the habit, you can't help it. Okay, so you have to be smart enough to see what is the question, and there is no harm in asking affirmation of the question. You getting my point? Does it answer your question? Whose question was it? That's okay. Any other question? Sure. Okay then, if there are no questions,